Oh, man.
All right.
Oh.
Fucking flaccid wrist.
That's the second
need
time
to
in a
work
row
them
we've
out.
started with something.
All right.
with
Dave,
the word
tomorrow though, you
flaccid.
need to do some of those like wrist curls or whatever
And
tomorrow.
fingers, everything. I just
know.
got to get these hands in shape.
Where are
So
these at there?
good.
They're in the fridge. Hold on.
Damn.
I
Stall it
should have
again.
told you before the clap that I needed another beer.
But like realistically, they could have gave
She's got the
they could have gave Francis a shot and Curtis Blades a shot already. Like literally, they could if he was fighting actively, they could have gave both those dudes a shot.
Blades has never had a shot at Stipe.
No, that's I mean it's a fresh matchup. He lost
Okay.
to Francis, but like if he
But
wins
his
again,
matches still have to take place. I think if Stipe fights in the next 3 months in Ngannou and then
Jones. Maybe.
And you know what? Truthfully, we're not giving enough credit to Daniel Cormier for holding up the weight division as well.
Well,
that's
yeah,
what
I mean, like especially that show with like Brock, how he's like teasing the Brock fight back in the day instead of fighting Stipe again, and it took
Yeah.
a year
It
for
took
that
a
fight.
year for that to
Yeah, that annoyed me. I'm not going to act like it didn't. Because then DC came back and was like, oh, you won't give me the fight. And it's like, you held out for the Brock fight. Like, and Stipe wanted to fight you.
Right.
I don't
Just-
think it's entirely Stipe's fault, and like it probably took a lot out of him. He had to go to against DC 3 times. I mean,
Well,
that's a tough fight.
it's tough to be a fighter though.
Yeah.
It is tough to be a fighter.
It probably sucks to train and do everything. It sucks that I imagine it sucks to do that as a living and have that be your body's probably
And
just
be a
destroyed.
firefighter.
Yeah,
in
He-
Cleveland.
he's a really good firefighter. You know.
Let's
I have no idea.
anyway, let's go ahead. We got a lot to cover because
Oh,
it
yeah.
has been a couple of weeks.
Last a hell of a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So we should we'll start with the Fight Night Smith versus Clark, but I don't think we're going to dive too far into a lot of these. I'm going to kind of read through them, then we'll talk about maybe the important ones. So we had Jonathan Pierce
said,
versus Kai Kamaka.
The third.
The third.
Don't
Sorry.
I don't want to get mixed up with the first two.
Jonathan Pierce, I believe, goes by JSP. He won by KO in the second round. He was kind of impressive.
I
mean,
didn't see this fight.
it was not bad. Actually, Kai Kamaka was kind of impressive as well. Then Ashley Evans Smith versus Norma Dumont Viana.
She looked really good. Normal Demont.
She did.
Yeah, I
She
remember
did.
this one. I watched this one.
Ashley Smith looked, I don't know, slow and more rudimentary.
Yeah.
So
She looked like she was like rusty or something like that too. Like she didn't look, her timing was off. I remember being like really like.
But so that was a decision win for Norma Dumont. Then Spike Carlisle versus Bill Algeo.
Yeah.
And I don't know. My favorite part about this fight is when Spike was barking at Bill, I guess.
Dude, I hate. He reminds me of an Doyle from Billy Madison.
Right.
He does. Look at him. Feels like an Doyle. Like
oh my god.
that should be his nickname, Spike Doyle.
Yeah.
Spike
But pretty much
stepchild.
Spike gassed and was controlled by Bill pretty much the whole
Yeah,
time.
he's like tenacious in the first round, and then like
Yeah.
he starts to gas, and like it's less effective.
Well, he's got the body of a WWE wrestler, which usually doesn't transfer too well
Sheamus,
into.
he could be Sheamus as well. Yeah.
Doesn't transfer too well into UFC typically for your cardio. Then two giant heavyweights, Josh Parisian and Parker Porter. But honestly, Parker Porter actually looked a little impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
he's got some hands.
I don't think he's gonna like make a run,
No.
but he could like be a gatekeeper pretty. I mean, like that's why I put him
He
seriously.
could beat Ben Rothwell.
Yeah, like he could be.
I was
somebody like
actually
that.
just gonna say he could be like the new better Ben Rothwell.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the gatekeeper though at heavyweight?
Orlovsky.
Yeah.
Arlovsky, yeah, I agree.
Because if you don't beat him,
Yeah.
it ain't happening for you.
No, I agree with you.
I,
100%.
that should be maybe that should be the fight. JDS versus Arlovsky. Loser goes to Bellator.
Man, I just think
He said
Yeah.
loser
it's
goes to
this
the
time.
When you said whoever, I don't even remember who sent that. You're like, well, time for Bellator.
yeah.
We'll get to that later though. But wait, for Parker Porter fought John Jones, in like John Jones' like fourth fight.
Wow.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, 205.
Oh, that's
Is
crazy.
that crazy? Yeah, like
yeah.
Yeah, because he's a big boy.
Yeah.
He could definitely stand to lose a little weight even for heavyweight. But honestly, he did gas. He has pretty decent striking. I don't know. I think he'll be an entertaining heavyweight.
It was It was
to
a hell of a
watch.
pace
Yeah.
for two
Any
like
new
out of
heavyweights
shape
are
looking
entertaining to
heavyweights.
watch.
Like,
really.
A lot of
Yeah.
volume too on the fight. He threw
Right.
a lot of volume.
Yeah, Josh was definitely more tired than Parker, but
that fight had no business being that good, really. You know what I mean? It's like
It-
it's
Yeah.
It
gonna
had
be
no
another
business.
lumbering
It didn't.
heavyweight fight.
it didn't. When
It
you
wasn't.
saw him walking in, you're like,
God damn
this shit.
Fucking slop fest. Which it was kind of a slop fest, but a good slop fest.
Yeah, well, Parker
Oh
looked
my
crisp to
God.
me, man. Like, especially the
Prize
first
pigs.
round, he was a little
Yeah.
shaky. The first round,
Not
he was
too
a little
bad.
bit shaky, and then it seemed like it started to come together for him. But Parker did win by decision. Then
This is a good fight.
This was a great fight. Miguel
Probably fight of the night.
Beza.
Beza versus
Yeah.
Takashi Soto. Beza won by submission in the second round. I can't remember what submission now. It's been
Triangle
so
choke,
long.
I think.
Okay,
I
and
think you're right.
I think Beza's a nice little prospect, man.
He hits hard too.
Yeah,
He's very crisp. It's
Yeah.
it's like a sort of real technical kickboxing, but like his ground game obviously is pretty good too. So
I like seeing new movement at welterweight.
he had a good win against
Yeah.
Matt Brown before this. So
and then in the main event, Anthony Smith versus Devin Clark.
there we go.
Oh my
He's
god,
got a bunch of new
Brandon.
tats, huh? Is that Neal on
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
new.
Anthony Smith needed to win this fight.
Yeah.
Should have won this
Yeah.
fight and did win this fight by
You were
submission in
die
the
time
first
for
round.
Anthony
Mhm.
Smith,
And he's got a good ground game, but he still didn't look amazing on the feet.
Well, it was pretty.
I mean, it's just
This
a
wasn't much.
levels thing, I think. You know what I mean? Like, as much as Anthony Smith has struggled, it's against top competition. I mean, I don't think he's a number 15, but, like, I don't know if there's much hope for him inside the top 8.
Yeah, it seems to be getting rougher and rougher for Anthony Smith.
Yeah, it depends on the matchup going forward and what his game plan is in that matchup too. Because I think there's ways he can beat people, but it just depends on like how well he's like not taken down and controlled, how well he can control the pace of the striking. But like this is a pretty favorable matchup for him. Devin Clark isn't really great at anything, or
Mm-mm.
Right.
like he's like serviceable everywhere.
Right. He needed a nice step back, and he got it, and he did what he was supposed to do
Right.
with it.
If it was any more competitive, I'd be more worried about
A
Anthony
little
Smith.
bit,
Yeah, like because I mean
Yeah.
it wasn't very competitive on the ground. He basically subbed him up pretty fast.
Yeah.
But I mean, Devin Clark.
Anthony Smith has bought himself some time and some fights in the UFC, so...
You'd think that Devin Clark could be a lot better than he is. Like he looks like he's like very athletic. He looks like he could hit hard, and like he just doesn't have anything great about him.
Looks like he has a wrestling build.
He's like Woodley legs,
Yeah.
like big.
Big fat legs and a big fat butt.
I'm
Okay.
I'm not going to worry about looking at who they're going to fight.
No.
We're just going to move right along.
Fuck him. Anthony Smith can take whatever fight.
Listen, I want to know what Tyron Woodley eats and what workouts he does. That's
Wow.
it.
It's
That's
all
all I want to
genetics.
know. I probably.
Because- you ever see his mom?
Clam up for 5
Yeah,
rounds?
you're right.
Yeah, it's-
What'd you say, Kyle?
and I
So
imagine
you
it's
can
a
clam
lot
up for
of
5 rounds?
and I imagine it's a lot of
I'm
squats.
sure he's in great shape. though.
No, when I did squats, it didn't work for me. It only built my quads. It didn't do anything else.
Oh, that's sad.
So-
Talking about guys' butts, that doesn't exist to me. Just- I don't pay
Listen,
attention
you
to
guys
that.
are the ones that asked me to build a list.
All
I
right.
did.
So the
I did. Probably,
next
it's probably me more than anyone.
I'm pretty sure it was.
the next fight card was UFC Fight Night. Jack Hermanson versus Marvin Vettori. This ended up being a pretty entertaining card.
This is a really
Yeah.
good card.
So first was Matt Wyman versus Jordan Leavitt.
Levitt, I think it's
Levitt?
Levitt.
Yeah.
I love this fucking guy, dude.
Yeah.
And Jordan Leavitt won by a KO in the first round. It was by a slam.
Brutal slam.
Yeah.
Brutal
Yeah.
slam. And, man, his awareness, this guy's something different,
Matt
man.
Wyman
Yeah,
was
for
like smiling,
sure.
like, he's carrying me. Look how cute. And
I was watching
pow.
it with people that like don't really watch fights, and that was the only thing. Obviously, it was 22.
Seconds. He
So,
basically
like-
shot instantly for a
They
takedown.
were like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, what a slam!" And I was like, "Yeah,
Well-
what a slam!"
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's impressive. Doesn't happen that much.
his personality is through the roof.
It's like I think it's like very atypical of MMA fighters, and I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Anyone
Like-
who's different than everyone
He
else.
literally reminds
That's
me
how
of
I
a
feel
drag
about Izzy.
queen. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what his, I mean, anything about him, but
But-
he seems like a gay man. I don't
Right.
give a fuck. Like,
Don't
I
care
think
at
it's
all.
great. It's
Yeah.
like his personality is wonderful.
It's
in
better
MMA.
when you
It's-
slam somebody through the
It's
mat.
awesome, and I don't
Yeah.
care. And he's a monster, and his awareness is great because when he went for the takedown and then picked him up, his corner was like, "Bring him over here," and he was like, "Okay, where are you?" He literally said it,
Yeah.
and then he walked over there, and then he had the wherewithal to realize he could slip his hand underneath his chin into his neck and really get a good slam in, and knocked him out cold.
Yeah.
And Wyman retired. So
And he seems like one of those fighters who is aware that you don't want to take damage in fights.
No.
Like that's not it's honorable maybe to some extent and a different perspective on fighting, but you don't want to get beat up and have wars. You'd rather
Right.
just go take somebody out and that's it.
Yeah.
And not get beat up and save your brain cells.
I just can't
Right.
wait to watch more of his post-fight interviews. I think he's a personality, dude.
He
Like,
posted-
really unique to MMA. It's
He posted a picture on Instagram the other day, and it was like him smiling, and it said like big Dexter Morgan vibes. I'm like, that makes sense. I kind of see how it's a thing.
Oh my.
all right, and actually, I'm just gonna do this card like this. What weight class is this?
What was that, welterweight or my
That's gonna be 155.
55? Oh, the one
Is he
before
at
was welterweight.
155?
Jordan Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make sure go down
because
and make sure
Wyman's
the first one.
Wyman's has been 155 forever.
Yeah.
Wait, go to the. Oh fuck.
I think because Wyman fought Luis Pena at 155, and I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Because I would like to see where the
I don't know where he's at. That's fucking killers though. It's not easy matchups for Levitt going forward. Like it's all killers. Like you look at even like 20s. It's like Fiziv's 20.
I hate how
Right.
much we
Yeah.
talk about lightweight.
well,
There's
Fiziev.
a lot of goddamn fighters.
Yeah,
I know, it's stacked.
It's incredible.
It's that and bantamweight I feel like are the two most stacked divisions
I
right
feel
now.
like Fiziev should be moved up from 20. That's just crazy.
Well, I mean,
Well,
it just depends on the circumstance. Like,
After last night, yeah, maybe, but
That's what I mean. After last
and
night.
Well,
it's
he
updated too.
he just beat him at 21 though, so it's not like he didn't really go forward even. I mean, ranking wise, skill wise, obviously you could put him higher just based off his skill set, but he
Right.
also lost him. Mustafaev.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
Let's just go with Magomed.
Yeah. They should match up there. Well, they should match up Brad Riddell and Fiziev because I think I thought he lost him already, but it makes sense to me.
Magomed Mustafaev.
Yeah, but we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking
These
about Levitt.
names sometimes.
I was just trying to give him somebody in the top 25.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're doing Levitt. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'd go down lower actually.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Maybe Bobby
Maybe, like,
Green. Bobby
Bobby
Green would be a good
Green,
fight.
yeah.
Yep. I like that
Great
fight.
striker.
Moises.
Good
Or
takedown
Thiago
defense.
Moises,
Yeah.
yeah.
This would be good.
So we'll go with that. Great win by Levitt and with
Great
that
prospect,
slam.
too.
Great prospect. Excited to see him fight. Excited to see his personality
It could
keep
be a
shining.
big star.
Then we have Roman
Dalids?
Dalids versus John Allen. I'll be honest with you,
Boring.
it's been so long I can't even remember.
Yeah,
The fight was
I
boring.
agree.
Yep.
It was a decision win in the decision win in the third round. Decision win. Sorry, I'm coming off COVID. My brain's not working.
we don't want to talk about me.
So Roman got the decision win. We'll just leave it at that. Move right along.
First round was fun, and that's about it.
Yeah. Then the next fight was Gabriel Benitez versus Justin James. Gabriel Benitez wins by a KO in the first round. Again, it's been so long now, I don't remember.
I feel like there was
He
something.
blasted him, maybe.
Something.
Yeah, maybe. Could be.
I don't remember either, to be honest with you.
I remember being impressed
Yeah,
by
I remember
that.
being impressed with.
I
what
should have went
happened,
back
but-
and rewatched this card
I
since
ain't
it was
rewatching
free
this.
on ESPN, but it exactly like you said, I ain't going to rewatch it.
I
start getting
actually
paid,
did
I'll
plan
rewatch
on it, but it just didn't pan
oh,
out.
I
was
planned on it too. I
exhausted
just
today.
didn't plan on
Yeah.
it either.
So then we move on to light heavyweight bout. Ovince St. Preux versus Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill wins by second round, KO, TKO, and
Yeah.
it was pretty vicious, and he looked really good.
Yeah, I
See-
like him.
See, I think that I noticed a lot of like glaring issues in his striking, even though he looked good. But I don't think anyone is as talented enough to take advantage of that as well as they probably should be able to. His striking looked good, but like I noticed it was off still a little bit. Maybe it's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, what holes did you see? Like,
It's just like his defense looked in certain angles. I could tell, like, well, if somebody were to counter there, just stuff like that, keeping his hands down in
somebody
certain
a little
spots.
quicker.
Right,
Yeah.
and like also, Urban St. Preux though, to Jamal Hill's credit, fights at a weird rhythm, and then he's not an easy fight for anybody in terms of getting a read on him because he doesn't really throw a lot. He throws from weird angles and it's different tempos, so he just he's a hard fighter to fight against. So maybe he'll look better with somebody a little more orthodox.
It seemed like they were kind of talking about Hill as like potential prospect, and I was like, I didn't really see nothing that was like got me excited about him. Like,
I don't know.
I mean, pretty good.
I mean, he threw some good combos and lit Ovince St. Preux up. I mean, not everybody lights Ovince St. Preux up. So
and light heavyweight, I feel like is so shallow that
I don't think it's that shallow anymore. To be honest.
Well, no, maybe not at this point in
Yeah.
time, but it's easy for like you said, they're calling him a prospect. It's easy for the commentators to be like, oh, he's going to be a prospect.
Yeah,
I can see it for sure.
It's
but
more noticeable with that division rather than somebody like lightweight where you have like Fazeev, who's like, well, he's 20.
Yeah.
This dude probably top 10
got a lot
already.
of talent.
I was gonna
Fazeev,
say,
I
how many
noticed.
fights has he had? Yeah,
Oh,
he's
like 8.
he's
He's
number
fresh.
10 now.
Right. And they have Jacare still ranked there.
Yeah, like
should-
get him out of there.
He should
Oh,
probably
yeah.
fight actually Anthony Smith. Dude.
Yeah,
we'll talk
there you
about
go.
that later.
Yeah.
But
Anthony
whew.
Smith.
Yeah.
I actually think Anthony Smith I think that's a good fight for both of them.
Yep.
Well, maybe not for Anthony Smith.
Yeah. Jamal Hill.
I mean, Ozdemir hasn't fought in a long time. I don't think.
Yeah, he last lost to Priaka.
Priaka.
Yeah, that's been a while though.
But Jamal Hill reminds me, his proportions are like a lightweight that's just big. Like he looks like he's like skinny shoulders and like he doesn't look that muscular.
Yeah,
It looks like he can get like put on some like muscle. He's not as like ripped.
They probably cut, but I mean, his power didn't look like it was lacking.
No, he had smooth boxing.
I also, but Ovince St. Preux's kind of been on a. I mean, I think he won his last fight, but before that he had lost 2. I think.
Yeah, but one of those was at heavyweight.
Yeah. But he
Yeah.
looks so sloppy at heavyweight. In my mind, I'm like, Ovince St. Preux sucks now. But, but, I mean, he has gotten better since that. Like, but that like was seared in my mind. Like, damn,
Yeah,
dude,
no, I
he
feel you.
came in super out of shape
I
at
can't-
heavyweight. Like,
But like I can't tell if he even has like his skill set is like degraded any because it's like has he even been that good? Because he's fight the same way literally.
yeah,
It's like weird submissions.
maybe the
weird
division has moved, but he's stayed constant.
Right, like weird random knockouts. And, like that's just been his whole career. Is just like blast somebody or he just like looks like he's lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you like, I mean, I know the John Jones fight. Like Jones probably wasn't ultra prepared at the time for it, but still, like, I mean, he didn't win the fight, but he held his own against John Jones. So it's like he's still been riding off that for quite a while, I think.
Yeah.
But everybody that John Jones fights and like gets finished brutally right after they fight him, though, it's like he decisions over,
wild.
and then they go on and get finished by somebody else easily.
Right.
If you think about
Seems
it,
like it
that's
happens.
like the very start of the John Jones. Like he's not putting up the highlight reel anymore.
Yeah, the lusters,
Yeah.
All right, so for the next fight, the main event of the event. I'm doing great today.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm better. Not better than me.
Jack Hermanson versus Marvin Vettori, and this was an awesome fight.
Great fight.
It turned out to be a slugfest. Marvin Vettori did win the decision, and I mean, did Jack Hermanson even attempt that many takedowns?
No,
Yeah, that's the thing
few.
is, I
Not
can't
much,
believe that Hermanson took the punishment he did and kept standing and.
it was fairly competitive though. He
2
got
of
beat, but
7. Wow.
he got beat, but it wasn't like he was out of it. Like I didn't feel like he was like getting so outclassed that he could not win. Because like you could one punch all it takes, and he's
Yeah.
still
Right.
in the fight. But
Right.
He almost got knocked out though in like the second round or something.
I think was it the first round?
End of the first or something.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
dropped.
I can't remember. I think it was the end of the first, actually.
Yeah, because he fought forever after that.
Yeah.
And at one point, I thought maybe Vettori was gassing. I remember that, but then he just kept going. I don't know, man. It was a slugfest. It was a lot of fun to watch. Vettori definitely made a name for himself.
I feel a little bad for Hermanson.
Yeah, because he.
Yeah.
He
especially-
earned that spot and then took. Yeah, I mean they were switching out his opponents and like. Yeah. I mean he might have been in line to just fight for a title if he kind of waited. Like,
Right.
And like Kevin Holland, he was supposed to fight him, and that was a different matchup completely than Vettori is.
Yeah.
And they had different, obviously threats, but who knows how that matchup could have went?
I mean, he didn't. Where was he before?
I think he was like.
Hermanson, he was
Hermanson
like
was like
4.
4-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I,
Why is
right.
Till so fucking high, dude?
I
Yeah.
don't know, and I love Darren Till,
But like,
but he does not deserve the ranking that he has.
yeah, like
he's like should be down there with Brunson.
he barely split decision like
Yeah.
Kelvin.
Yeah. Looking at the future matchup, I know Vettori and Till have actually been talking back and forth about the European Championship, quote unquote. And I think that's actually a pretty decent
But
fight.
you mean Vittori or
The
Hermanson?
European
Vittori
title.
and Till.
Yeah, Vittori, yeah.
Yeah.
And Vittori was calling before he got the fight. This fight he just fought, he was calling out Chris Weidman.
Was
Yeah.
it?
Like Weidman doesn't like. Why would
Stop
Weidman
picking on
fight
Weidman,
you?
dude.
Like
Yeah.
that's a bad fight for Chris Weidman.
I would
Every
pick
fight.
Every
on
fight's a
Weidman.
bad fight for Chris Weidman.
I would pick on Weidman though. I'd be like, dude, he's got a
Exactly.
name and I can fuck that dude up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like Chris Weidman. I mean, you have to think like Chris Weidman is one of the only champions who won off of flukes. Like I don't want to call the the
Controversial.
Silva pulling his head back and
Yeah.
getting knocked out a fluke, but the leg kick.
Yeah, the
That's a
broken leg.
fluke.
That's,
But he was dominating that fight until the knockout.
Yeah, he
to be
was.
honest.
He won the first round.
He
Yeah.
dropped him with that in the
No,
clinch.
right.
right.
But just in a sense of like, that's how you won.
yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't hate Chris Weidman, but I don't necessarily like him.
It's hard not to see it as like they met each other at the perfect moment where Weidman was on his way up and
Yes.
Silva was on his way down. Because after that, Weidman
Fell off the
didn't
cliff.
never do much.
Fell
Yeah.
off. Yeah, I mean, right after that, didn't he lose it to Luke Rockhold?
No, he beat Machida and beat Vitor.
Okay.
Who was like post TRT the Vitor.
Right.
Looking a little dad bodish.
Right, and like he basically just took him down and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. But so actually, I like that fight, Vittori versus Till.
Because Till needs a good win at this
Yeah.
division.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Because like, if you can't split decision somebody by just clinching up and neutralizing their game, and then that's your only win in the division, and you're still riding high on that.
And I'm not positive he gets a win against Vittori.
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so hard to say.
I don't
'cause,
know.
Like,
Because Till, though, to his credit, is a great counter striker, and Vittori throws a lot. He does. Like it gives. It's actually a decent style matchup for Till for that reason. Vittori won't be hesitant until feeds off counters. He doesn't
Yeah.
And I do
lead.
feel like Till came
and
out. in
Darren
that,
Till's huge.
Till came out in that first round with Whitaker, and it looked like he intended to put on a heavier pace.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
if that's his intent, I'm excited to see what Till can do with that. Like, that's been his problem. Is like you have the skills, start unleashing this shit.
And you can match up Hermanson with Brunson pretty easily, I think.
That's actually what I was thinking as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or the winner of Hall versus Weidman if you want to do that too. Whatever. It depends on how it falls with timing. But
Yeah.
anywhere back behind to give him a sort of softball. Because I think, like I said, Hermanson proved himself to be top in the division. It's just that we didn't know that Vittori was that good.
Yeah.
Right.
I know,
Until he
I was
showed up.
surprised.
Right.
Yeah, you just like someone's on the way up and they got a good shot at the top 5 and then they made the best of it.
And
I mean, he's on a 3-fight win streak, 2 decisions, 1 sub.
I'll tell you what, it might have been better that Hermanson got Vittori than Kevin Holland after what
Well,
we witnessed
that's
this,
it.
this week.
Yeah.
I feel like that
Yeah.
situation ended up working out better than it was set up to begin with. Like,
100%.
I felt like both those fights made more sense, and like, I mean, for Vittori it worked out pretty well, and for Holland it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, because Vittori would have blasted the shit out of Jacare though. It'd been bad. Like there would have been nothing that Jacare could have done to him really.
Yeah.
Because like he's not going to take him down.
Yeah.
It would have been a different fight. Maybe not as impressive as this war that we had.
Yeah. All right. So that is that. And now on to UFC 256, Figueiredo versus Moreno, which I think might have been
Card of the year.
the card of the year, maybe one of the best cards ever from top to bottom, prelims and everything.
As far as
Actually-
action goes.
Yeah, we're actually going to start with the early prelims.
And
we're going to
in
do
re-
every fucking
In,
fight
re-
on this
in,
card.
in result, like the results also ended up like almost every way I wanted it to go. You know what I mean? Like I walked away like, yes, everybody I wanted to win won, and it was a
I
great
know.
card. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously the draw at the end. I mean, I didn't really care who won that fight, so it didn't matter. I was like,
Right.
this is a great fight.
It was
Yeah.
a really fucking good fight. I wish I had my notes that I took in front of me right now because I took a lot of good notes.
I took way too many notes.
I mean, I am glad that Fig walks away still holding that
Right,
belt.
Yeah.
and we'll get to that. We're going to start with a featherweight bout on the early prelims: Chase Hooper versus Peter Barrett.
I can't believe he pulled it off.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
say one thing. It was definitely clear that these guys, they need to get some fights under their belt before they move up to the next level of competition. But
Yeah.
it was still an exciting fight. Chase Hooper did win by a third-round submission, which was a comeback because he got his leg destroyed in
Yes,
the first.
he did.
And he really couldn't get anything going in the striking game. He couldn't seem to manage to get a takedown. And then all of a sudden, what was it, in the second? He did the first
The Minari roll.
Imanari roll and was able to get a takedown. And then he ended up doing it again in the third, and eventually he did lock up
it was an ankle lock.
an ankle lock, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really impressive. And the way he set up that second Imanari roll was really impressive. I mean, he threw a couple of strikes knowing that he was just trying to work his way in close enough to do his little somersault and grab the
He
leg.
got in deep on it.
I had to laugh though because I feel like without saying it, Joe Rogan was like, "This kid doesn't belong in the UFC."
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I don't know if you guys
His
said that,
commentary on this fight was very like, he's got a lot of potential, and don't get me wrong, he does have a lot of potential. But Joe Rogan was just like, maybe he's just not experienced enough to be here, and I was like, damn.
I mean, I think he does have a future in the UFC. I
For
think
sure.
it's a question of like
Can you
his
just last that long?
mentality, because like you're gonna go through some trials and tribulations.
Right.
You're very young, but like man, you got so much raw talent on the ground. You obviously need to work on the striking a little bit, striking
Right.
defense and shit. But
Yeah.
like you have the skills on the ground that stacks up with anybody. You know what I mean, in the UFC.
Obviously, he came back from fucking getting his leg chopped up
He's
to win
probably
the
gonna
fight.
get knocked out
Yeah.
a few times, but like
I
thought
if
he was gonna
sta-
get out-
Maybe a
get
Charles
knocked out.
Oliveira story though. You know what I mean? Where like you know what I mean, he comes in like, man, this guy's got a lot of talent, but maybe it's not gonna happen.
Right.
But, and then I just think if he can stick it out, he has a future. He's very young. He's what, 23?
Yeah, he's
21.
very young.
He's 21, yeah.
Oh,
He's
gee, yeah.
very young.
And
I think he's
can't,
the youngest fighter on the roster, actually.
and I can't say Joe Rogan was wrong in what he was saying. I
No.
mean, literally the next guy fight that came on, I was like, you can see the drastic level,
Yeah.
the drastic difference in level of talent between these two guy fights.
But I think that also going against Chase Hooper at this point is like he's young, but he's not very athletic either.
No.
He's not like a super athlete that's young.
Yeah.
It's like he's skilled, and that's where he falls back on. But sometimes if you can't push a fight in the way you need to push it, and like push and use athleticism to get it there, if you don't have a blast double,
Yeah.
if like Imanari rolls are nice and it's a great setup, but you can't use that every single time you fight.
Well, and he even said in his post-fight that he still has like 7 to 8 years before he's in his athletic prime, and
Right.
he's got time to put on muscle and all these different
But-
things.
I was
So
impressed
he's
with
got a
his-
good head on his
Impressed
shoulders.
with
Yeah,
his
yeah.
composure though. Like I mean, he was dealing with an injury and he didn't fold. He found a way to win.
right.
So I think that says a lot about him in itself. Like, I think we're gonna see plenty of Chase Hooper.
I just hit that by the time his body catches up to his skill set that he's not taking 4 knockouts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I heard that. Yeah,
Match him up well.
yeah. It
Right,
just,
because sometimes even though you start young, those fight miles add up on you.
Yeah.
And you're an old fighter at 27.
right. You could be like a Stefan Struve who's like fucking been knocked out 10 times in his 20s.
Yeah.
But like honestly, not to diminish him, but he probably should ask to go somewhere else under the UFC's like not watch, but like they do
Yeah,
like
with the intent that you're coming.
you're like a farm league.
Well, they
Yeah.
they actually have like developmental contracts.
Right. They should.
well, they have
they should,
Invicta for the women.
they should use him
Yeah.
as somewhere else and let him go against lower competition and sort
Yeah.
of groom him
Yeah.
because he needs that. It's hard to be in like in
It's
the
hard
fire
to be
the whole time.
21 years old and fighting in the fucking UFC. Like,
Yeah.
you don't... You know what I mean? The only other person you see that's young right now is Macy Barber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
And she's a piece of shit.
I
I don't know
We're
if she's
not-
not.
Well, and there were those two girls that were both like 21 in
oh, yeah.
in the
was
fight
like,
card
what?
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
those
John
two,
Jones
too.
was 21 when he started.
Yeah, but that's an athletic
That's a
freak of
different-
nature.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
compare them. Like,
And I
it's-
mean,
Right,
you
right.
have to look at the time period that John
Right.
Jones came in too. I mean, the sport has evolved so
Oh, yeah,
much
for
since
sure.
he's come in. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
John Jones is definitely a unique case there, though.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, his brother's fucking
Yeah,
what,
they were
Chandler
NFL,
Jones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Vitor was like 19 when he debuted,
Yeah.
but
but
then
he was on TRT.
and, yeah,
I
The
think he
whole
was on
time.
straight roids.
Yeah.
Then.
Or Roy. Well, I don't.
Young man
I don't
roids
know
at
the
that
difference
time.
between TRT. Like, I think TRT is a steroid. It is a steroid. So
Yeah. Unfortunately for Tisha Torres, the next bout is Tisha Torres versus Sam Hughes. Unfortunately for Tisha Torres, this was probably the most lackluster fight of the night.
I love this fight. This fight is good.
But Tisha
Seriously.
Torres looked great.
she was fast, and
Yeah.
I remember saying on, I think it was the last episode when we previewed this card, I said I watched her hit pads and she was like smacking them super quick and super hard, and it really kind of showed in this fight.
And that bitch didn't want no smoke at the end of the
No,
fight. She was
when
like,
I was like, wait,
She
what
was
is
like-
going on? And I was like, her eye isn't even that bad.
It's
Like,
unfortunate for Tisha because she was putting on a display. You know what I
yes,
mean?
she
It's like,
was.
I
I
would like
like
to see more
Tisha.
of
yeah, she looks very nice and like
She
she's
looked
she's
good.
she's exciting too.
It just sucks for her that she'll never get to that. I mean, the top, 5 at
so
strawweight is just stacked. I mean, you have Joanna, Rose, Wei Li, obviously is the champion. Who else is up in that top? Tatiana. I mean, Tatiana isn't ranked right now, but she's still good.
She might beat the shit out of Tatiana. I know you like Tatiana, but
you think Tisha beats Tatiana?
I think that the Tatiana that we saw last time that gassed out and was like not striking worth shit. Yeah, I mean, if she's still around in the last round, she's vicious. She's like she'll pour it on somebody who's gassed.
Yeah.
So it depends on obviously how well she could do in the first few rounds when she still has her gas tank. But
right.
But I it's harder to quantify someone's like she's really good at wrestling and her striking is pretty shitty. No offense to her.
I'm really curious to see how she comes back from this neck injury with her striking. I'm really, really curious.
Well, maybe your wrestling game will suffer too. You think about it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because you need your neck a lot when you wrestle. That's fucking critical. So.
Yeah, just moving people with your head.
I mean, cauliflower.
And you got to think about the wear and tear on her body already from wrestling all of her life. Like her knees are probably bad. Her neck's probably just going to be always diminished, to some extent.
It's a shame because I like Tatiana a lot.
She seems very. I watched her in The Ultimate Fighter.
I loved her on The Ultimate Fighter.
She looked really nice and like. It just like you could tell that she needed that test that she had last time, and that maybe her striking will get better. She's still young, but it needs to get better for the division. So
yeah, I mean that division is so top heavy.
But Sam Hughes definitely didn't belong in that fight. It was just like
we're lucky it is top heavy though because that's like the class of women's MMA there.
Well,
though.
yeah, I mean every other.
Like
I mean 25, 35, and 45 are all shallow as
barren.
shit. I mean, luckily Andrade moved up and went to 25 because that gives a little bit of a decent
it does a lot
challenge for Shevchenko considering her last fight.
Until she beats her, and then it's like, all right, well, who's next?
Right.
It's over,
no, I agree with you 100%.
But because of the way Shevchenko's last fight went, I mean, it becomes a little exciting to see what Andrade might do to her. I mean,
we'll see. I don't know.
Well, like it's crazy to even think about the fact that the UFC was gonna fold the flyweight division for the men's, and they had these like barren women's divisions that like literally.
Right, and it's like you've had flyweights headline what? How many cards in the last year? 4 or something like that.
Imagine if you would have sunk that. Like what would you be scrambling to put pay-per-views together right now? Like
right, and also like, I just feel like it's like 125 is pretty okay. 135 is literally like it's in the same, but 145, 135 are just the most boring divisions to me.
And women's division?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like at men's, 25 and 35, 40, like
you're talking about women.
Stacked.
It's like the lower you go, the better the competition is. 115 being the best.
Right.
125 is still not that great, and 135 is like. It's like
There's
older women. It's like I don't even know who's in there. It's
I
like
can't even remember the last time Nunes defended the 145 title.
No,
it's been like what, 8 months, 7 months.
Yeah, and then it's like Megan Anderson got the title shot off of like fucking one win.
Because there's nobody at 45.
Right, and then Nunes though, it's like she's running out of challengers. It's like Sarah McMahon's still floating around the division, and it's like. That's a goddamn relic. That's from like fucking when the women's division first came in the UFC.
Chuck Liddell of women.
Yeah, it's like, seriously though. I think of Ronda beating her back like when I was
Brad.
a decade ago.
Hey,
it feels like
what's
it
her name's
does.
coming back. Remember I sent it to you.
Misha Tate.
Misha Tate.
Misha Tate's gonna.
Well, she like owns half of ONE FC, or she's like a big rep in ONE FC now.
It's like she can't be
right.
How much money is ONE FC making?
But it is it is ONE FC.
Like
though.
I'm a big fan of MMA,
right?
and
Okay.
I don't watch ONE FC. Like,
I watch like
where
some
would I
fights.
watch it?
I've watched a few. Yeah,
It's on
The
like
big
5 in the
fights.
morning though. I watched Eddie Alvarez versus when he fought. That random dude. And I watch Mighty Mouse fights whenever.
That's the other one I watched too. And,
I like Mighty Mouse.
Sage isn't ONE FC, right?
Yeah, he got
I
knocked
watched
out
him
by
get his face
Cosmo
fucking
Alexander,
broke.
I think. Yeah, he got fucking knocked out.
Well, that sucks for Sage.
You alright?
No, I'm dying.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, Tisha looked fast. She was putting together good combinations. It just sucks for her that her weight class is so stacked. If the UFC would implicate a 105,
An atom
like
weight,
an atom weight, she would
Her
be
Michelle
the
Watterson
champion
would be-
100%.
Yeah, she beat Watterson, right?
I could fight at 105.
You could. You could be top 5 at least.
Yeah.
You could
I
probably
mean,
beat Sam Hughes.
I walk around at 112, so like,
You have to
Get it
bulk up.
started.
oh yeah.
So then,
Yeah.
But so in between the first round and the second round, Sam Hughes told everybody, I can't see.
Can't
No.
see.
And they stopped the fight.
Yeah.
And her eye was fine.
She's a horse girl, so
You could literally.
she looks like a horse girl.
It'd be
in high
one thing
school.
if her eye was completely swollen shut,
That's the
but
worst thing.
it wasn't at all. Like you could see both of her fucking.
I think I seen her jab it
irises.
herself. I think she was like pushing on the shit just to make it look worse.
She's like, yeah, I'm done with this. All right.
Oh my god.
So the next we had Gavin Tucker versus Billy Quarantillo. Gavin Tucker wins by decision, and this was the first fight where I was like, hey, this could get fight of the night.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good fight. Not quite there because it was a good night of fights.
Yeah.
It
But
wasn't-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The first time
Great
Yeah.
I
card.
thought
It
it.
wasn't
Like,
competitive enough. It wasn't competitive enough to probably hold out though to be fight of the night. Like what? I mean, it was competitive, but Tucker, man, I thought Tucker shined. Like
Yeah, Big Cody Garbrandt looked really good in this
Oh,
fight.
shut the fuck up.
he
No,
looks
he
like
doesn't.
a little bit though, like
No.
You know, covered in tattoos, but
The
there's no neck
tattoo-
tattoo.
no.
chiseled jawline.
Oh, shut up.
But so
I didn't say anything about you. I just said Cody Garbrandt. I can't mention Cody
No,
Garbrandt
but
without
we
you
already know the
attacking
running
me.
thing on the fucking.
But so Gavin Tucker looked really good. Billy's stats are built up like this in the striking game because he just constantly was moving forward and applying pressure.
Yeah.
But Gavin Tucker was hitting him with
Sniping.
great
Yeah.
counters, getting the takedowns. Just overall looked really good. They both looked really good. Like I said, compared to the first men's fight on this card,
Yeah.
did
there
he
was.
win performance of the night, Tucker?
I don't think.
I
he
don't
did.
think so, man. There was
There's a lot of runnings.
Yeah,
Let me look.
man.
I'll
This
look
card
up
was
and see.
insane.
And I feel like Billy Q gassed a lot faster because his striking was less clean,
Yeah.
and like he you know, missing that much and sort of coming out that way.
Yeah.
It made him gas faster than Tucker, who is more tight and a lot more accurate.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see both these guys fight again, but Billy did seem a little bit sloppier.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just was trying to apply the pressure and get him out of there.
And I remember being impressed with Billy Q because I think he beat Spike Carlisle his last fight. And the way Spike fights is like tailor-made for him because Spike comes forward too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but against somebody who's more of a technician, that style falls apart eventually
Yeah.
during the fight. He looked okay in the first round, a lot more competitive, and then it fell apart as he got slower and more gassed.
Yeah, for sure. So good win, Gavin Tucker decision.
I mean, he looks like he could be a big deal. So
Yeah, like his angles he was cutting and like
Yeah.
stepping off to the side fast and like sort of efficiently.
yeah, and
Impressed me a
accurate
lot.
as fuck. You know, I don't know, man. That kid could be somebody real soon.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see him fight. I'd like to see him fight a little bit more of a name for his next fight.
I mean, it's like it's hard to make fights for these lower weight classes because like every week there's a goddamn prospect who should be fighting a name,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just like it ain't gonna happen. He's gonna fight some random top 25 guy,
right,
it's
because
gonna
nobody
be-
wants to fight the guy that's ranked lower.
Yeah. And you literally got to make them.
And like, how busy could those top 5 guys be? You know?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't
Another
know if
one?
he would jump into the top 5, but
Well, yeah, well,
but the movement up top gets a lot slower.
Yeah.
You know, as it gets higher.
yeah, well, they don't want to take risks.
yeah, well, and you earn that. You blaze that path usually to get there. You know,
Yeah.
fought 12 times. I'm number 5 now. Like, let me chill for a minute.
But then you got to do like a Charles Oliveira and fight fucking 7 times and win 7 times in a row
Yeah.
before you get somebody who's been around for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and man, wait till we get there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so the
Can't
next
wait.
fight was Renato Moicano versus Rafael the Matrix Fiziev.
Brian Boitano.
He won one of the performance of the night bonuses. Fiziev did.
Yeah.
He probably should have, but that stoppage was. But by the way, it's TKO in the first round.
Yeah, TKO in the first round. And actually, Fiziev was getting caught a little bit, but it was right after an eye poke that definitely happened. But Fiziev was like, no, fuck it, I'm fine. But you could see him, he was rapid blinking because it was messing with him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like as soon as that cleared up, he started lighting him up again.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen his other fights in the UFC, and like he does have like deficiencies with his defense. So like, but offensively, he's amazing.
Like incredible.
Yeah, and it's hard for people to put up with that sort of offensive onslaught that, you know. But if you could find somebody who's durable,
Yeah.
it might be some problems in terms of his defense.
Even
but-
though we were all in agreement about Joe Rogan before the podcast, Joe Rogan not having as good a showings in the commentary as he has in the past,
Right.
he was right on when he was talking about Rafael at the beginning of this, like how fast he was throwing those leg kicks. Like I don't know how you see him coming. It was ridiculous.
I was impressed by
Yeah.
his ability to even like some of his head kicks that he was throwing was like,
It's like, how do you be
Yeah.
that fast?
yeah, to get your leg up there that fast. It's like I was impressed he didn't get fucking knocked out by one of those.
Yeah.
Seriously, because he
Even
blocked
with his
it.
hands up.
Yeah. And this is a bad matchup for Moreno, because Moreno is actually a pretty good striker. He has, he's not the best striker, but he has a great jab and he's also fast and has some power.
Yeah.
And he's great on the ground too, but this guy has great takedown defense, even faster with more power. So it's like he's bound to get knocked
That's a
out
big
eventually.
win for Fiziev, though. He's gonna get a name. Like,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
because the knockout was vicious. He
So
ended
he-
up catching him with a vicious combo.
despite the early,
And then it was, after looking at it again, it was definitely an early stoppage. Was Moicano
rocked his
rocked?
shit, yes.
Because when he went to go get up, he definitely fell
Stumbled back.
backwards.
Right.
Who was
But-
the referee? Was it Jason Herzog?
I don't remember.
Oh.
But he was trying to defend himself on the ground. He grabbed the wrist. He was trying to grab an arm or a leg or anything he could get. He was composed on his back.
Probably the next move is Fiziev yanks up and starts clocking him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Probably, but we will never really know.
But this is where he won. Moicano won the fight on the ground. He's a lot better than Fiziev. I mean, on paper than he is on the ground. So like, it is interesting if it grappled a little bit, because like, well, would Fiziev would have got up and maybe told him to stand up, or do you grapple with him and oblige him in that sort of contest?
Or does Moicano, because he has that ground game, end up getting some wild submission
or
win out of
sweeping him?
nowhere?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like there's plenty of opportunities for the fight to go a different way. The most likely chance was him just pounding him out, honestly.
Yeah,
but-
because he was for sure really rocked.
right.
Yeah.
I think.
But I've seen people recover in those situations. You know?
Right, it happens for sure. But
Depends on the
but that
referee
takes-
and what they see.
Yeah, and that takes nothing away from Fiziev, because
No.
I mean, it was a vicious knockout.
And he appeared to be the better fighter to me.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Well, from the stand-up game.
Yeah.
So great win for Fiziev. I can't wait to see him fight again. He's quickly rising up my rankings. He's one of my favorite fighters. And then next is
I love this fight.
I was so happy for
Yeah.
Cub.
Good for
next
Cub.
is Cub Swanson versus Daniel Pineda. Cub Swanson wins by a second round TKO.
It was a fucking
Wild fight.
Yeah.
yes.
It was
It
a
was.
good fight.
It was a wild fight.
It was this was another fight, just like the Chase Super fight, where
Yes.
Cub Swanson's leg gets destroyed in the first.
Yeah.
And it's very nerve-wracking because he was just coming back from a knee injury.
right from
Right.
And
Quintet.
literally, I was screaming at the TV, Cub, switch stances, switch stances.
That was the first message that I realized on my phone, because like I was at the bar watching everything, and this was the last fight before the pay-per-view
Right.
that I had really paid attention to.
Did you DM him?
Huh?
Did you DM
Go
Cub?
fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, Brandon.
Switch stances.
So what were you saying, though?
Anyway, that was the first message I got, was switch stances, and like I 100% agreed. And then the next thing I know was like, all right, here's round 2. We're getting ready to go to round 3.
The way he was fighting Pineda was so fucking like cocky. It was
Right.
pissing me off. I'm like, dude, I didn't dislike him before. I thought he looked
Did he have a
good.
good win last time?
Herbert Burns, he beat the shit out of him on the ground. It was a good win, and like I have no opinion
Oh,
on
he
his
was the one. He ain't been there, and he's coming back after 5 years gone. Or
right. He was
something.
from PFL,
Yeah, and
I
he had that
believe.
great
Yeah.
win, yeah.
Yeah, and like, but he was so arrogant.
Yeah.
It's like so arrogant and like so dismissive of his power and stand up. It's just like,
How are you dismissive of Cub Swanson's power?
right.
Like,
I was just glad to see Cub finally come back and get like that good of a fucking win. Like I like Cub a
Me
lot.
too. He's very easy to root for. He's a fan of the
He's
man.
a good. He just seems like a very
Veteran.
solid dude. He's a
Right.
veteran, like you just
Been around
said.
a long time.
And that was his last. That was his first stoppage win since he beat like Dennis Seaver in 2013, I believe.
yeah,
Wow.
well, and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a vicious KO. Actually, I do want to say I was yelling about switching stances. Then when he came out in the second round, he switched stances and was in kind of like a karate stance. But it didn't last long, because as soon as he rocked him again, he just switched back
Yeah.
and went after him.
And he was measuring distance a lot better with sort of avoiding the leg kicks eventually, because I think that Pineda was getting damaged. And he was telegraphing. They mentioned in the commentary they were telegraphing that kick, so
Yeah.
he was just sliding out of the way and getting out of range instead of checking it or even taking any damage himself. So
Yeah.
very smart adjustment by him.
I wonder
Yeah.
what went into the decision
Cub's
to
smart.
make them
Yeah.
lead
He's
the
a veteran.
prelim card, though.
Like I said on one, I can't remember what episode it was, but when he fought Kron, I'm almost positive he shaved his entire body
Oh yeah.
to
I
get
remember
all
you
of the hair off of him, because there was just no way Cub couldn't or not Cub. Kron couldn't lock up anything around Cub.
He greased up like GSP.
GSP has weird blonde hair now. It's off.
But I probably would have put Moicano and Fiziev as the headliner for that card.
Oh,
that,
Cub's a
that
big
prelim,
name.
You know?
Yeah,
I get the
everybody
Cub-
knows Cub Swanson, even if they don't really
Yeah.
watch the UFC.
Yeah, I'm a big Fiziev fan, and until until Brandon said it on the
Forgot
last
that was
podcast,
him,
I
yeah.
forgot that was him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, Fiziev should be in the main card, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
really think about it. Like,
Oh, you're pouring.
I wasn't even paying attention. I don't even know what popped up.
It's a Dropbox thing.
Oh, okay.
but yeah, this is a good one by Cub. I don't know how much he has left in his tank, you know, as far as his career. I'm thinking like he's probably gonna take another fight, but I'm like, that's a good ass win to retire off of.
But
You're
it's
getting
like-
up there.
They might cut Pineda at that again. you
Well, he's
know?
1-1. That's not the worst. And Cub,
But-
Yeah,
it
but
was
they're
coming
doing
back off
all
of-
these cuts too.
Yeah, and coming like they kind of gave him another chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
and it's weird to
He
even
lost to Cub.
sign him in the first place because he failed at drug test in PFL, and that's why he was released from there.
Yeah.
That's weird. They signed him off of a failure of a drug test because usually that's not their MO. But
Probably card filling, but
Yeah.
but Cub, I think he'll take another fight, and I think Cub is probably pretty self-aware that he's going to be out there trying to do fun fights and cash in paychecks.
and
Yeah.
I guess we'll get to the matchups, but someone who pops to mind that would be a good fight for him is like a Clay Guida.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, man, it'd be so much fun. And
Yeah.
he'd probably knock
I feel
him
like
out.
that would be
Right.
nostalgic
But I mean, like,
to a degree.
he knows he's not making another title run.
Diego
Right.
Sanchez.
Yeah. That's a good retirement fight for Diego Sanchez.
Yeah.
I think he fights at 170 just because he's fat now.
Yeah.
So unless he wants to gain 20 pounds or whatever.
Oh my god.
All right, so now we're gonna jump onto the main card. And by the way, this could have got KO of the night, and it didn't because of how this fucking card
Oh,
was.
the main card was wild.
Yeah, so Junior Dos Santos versus Cyril Gane. The first thing I noticed was honestly like Junior Dos Santos looked to be in way better shape than he had in his past two fights.
Right.
And at first I was like, oh, he looks a little fast. It didn't matter.
No.
It was a second round KO, TKO by Cyril Gane.
His kickboxing is great.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
For a light
Gaines.
heavyweight to be that light on his feet
Right.
and able to throw kicks like
But
that.
like,
And
look at his shoulders.
Dude,
You know
he's
what I mean?
huge.
Brock Lesnar.
Yes. And I feel like, I don't know, like I said, like I was at the bar with a bunch of my friends. So when I say we get into a fight, we don't really get into a fight about it. But like we started getting into an argument because I had said something about like, Dos Santos is on his way out. And this kid was like, no, there's no way. And I was like, bet.
Yeah.
Gane's gonna
yeah.
gonna finish this fight.
I
And
mean, it's to the point where it feels like Dos Santos is giving up in there and shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what it looked like. I mean, Cyril Gane ended up hitting him with a stiff jab in the second.
Good job. Yeah. Very
And
good job.
immediately, Junior Dos Santos turned his head and stopped looking at him.
Yeah. I
It was
oh.
like,
his
why is-
defense was
Don't
so
hit me
odd.
anymore.
I was like, why is he just turning away from him?
Yeah.
What's going on
giving
here?
him my neck.
And then
Like,
he followed it up
Please.
with
He's ended.
two
You
very
know where we're going, to the cage, right?
ended.
Come on.
Let's go, baby.
He's like, come on, finish it, Cyril.
Let's just get this over with.
This
I want to
fucking
get the fuck
paycheck,
out of
dude.
here.
So Gane followed it up with two very hard elbows. One, when you first saw it, looked like maybe could have been behind the head. Then you see
No.
the replays. It was not. It was definitely a legal shot. Bad form on Junior Dos Santos for
Very
walking up to
unprofessional.
him. Very
Yeah.
unprofessional.
Nicest guy in the world.
Yeah,
but,
but
like,
should not have
kinda-
done that, man. That
it's
sucks.
ridiculous.
And nothing's gonna happen. No one's ever returning that. First of
No.
all, you gave up and was
You
walking
gave
away
up.
from
It's
one.
your
you got
fault.
elbowed.
If he hit you in the back of the head, it's because you went up.
But he
Yeah,
didn't,
and you turtled
though.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And you turtled up. It
I
was-
laugh and you guys like Bellator time.
It's right. It was right behind his ear. But he walked up to Cyril Gane right afterwards and was like, "I was out because you hit me with the shot behind that." Like, dude, stop.
Well,
No.
like,
Like,
the
knock it
ear,
off.
like right here isn't behind the head.
No.
No.
It's
No,
it
perfectly
has to
legal.
be-
Happens all the time.
It's like it
Exactly.
probably was right on that line, but like it really.
It's how
wasn't.
Conor McGregor
No.
knocked out Dustin
And, like,
Poirier.
But in Nevada, they have the instant replay, so if they and you can continue the fight afterwards. So if they wanted to review it to see if it was actually behind the head,
Junior
they
didn't
100%.
want. Junior didn't
could've.
really want the fight to continue.
he didn't want that
Are you
beef.
fucking kidding me?
Right.
He just wants to
No,
make
you're
sure he
right.
gets another check.
Yeah. But like Junior though, it's like I feel like he doesn't have any confidence in stepping in the pocket anymore because of his knockouts.
Yeah.
He has no confidence in his hands or his chin, and that seems like he's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna get knocked out
It's on
again.
retreat.
So like he just
Yeah.
gives up before he gets actually flattened.
Well, and I will say, I'm just hyper impressed with Cyril Gane. Again, so light on his feet for a light heavyweight. Great kicks. And the crazy thing is we're sitting here talking about his kickboxing, but he has quite
3 submissions.
3 submissions. So he seems pretty
Against-
well rounded.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you
I
know
think
who
he's a.
subbed?
What?
Who is he subbed?
I believe he subbed. He took Tanner Bozer decision. Maybe maybe Mays, Dante Mays. Is that a guy? Is that a man?
Is that
I have no idea. We'll find out right
Find
here.
out.
Because
Though.
this was only his second,
Third
or
UFC fight.
third UFC.
He came in
fight?
at like 3-0, and that's it.
right.
So not a lot of fight mileages on him.
Dos Santos,
Dante
Bozer,
Mays.
Tanner Bowes?
Dude,
You're literally a walking
Yeah, he's a
fucking
fucking
encyclopedia.
Oh, yeah. But sad, I know. He has two subs in the UFC. He has a heel hook against
Yeah.
Dante Mays. That's nuts.
Yeah.
They might be looking at exciting prospects.
I mean-
there wasn't anything that was highly impressive, but mostly that's probably Dos Santos' fault.
Yeah. Well, and his distance management was really good, so that bodes well for even not getting takedown in the first place because he's not around. He moves around well enough to like minimize takedown threats.
Yeah.
You know, like he's not there. He's always bouncing around.
Yeah, no, I was actually very impressed with him, regardless of Junior Dos Santos, just because of the way he moves around, his control of distance,
Patient.
patient. I mean, I think he's going to end up being a real problem.
It's like
Plus,
maybe we
he's
have
got
the new Overeem.
but he's got his bottom teeth are vampire-like.
Yeah.
He has crazy fangs on his
I
bottom.
want to
teeth.
like him, so don't bring that up. I like his teeth. I'm the pettiest. I love MMA, but I'm petty about names, about how people look. Just a bunch of dumb shit.
Moicano, I don't know, there's something about his face. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't like that guy.
But I mean, also heavyweight. It's like the has somebody this caliber of striking. He automatically is a contender in my
Yeah,
in my
I keep
eyes.
saying light heavyweight, but it's heavyweight.
Yeah, because like you think about like
Looks
Stipe
like that.
and like I'm not saying he's gonna beat Stipe at 7-0 in his career,
Yeah.
but like has Stipe ever fought somebody like this? Like he just he's fought Overeem, but Overeem
Yeah.
is probably a worse version of this right now.
Yeah, it's definitely. I keep saying light heavyweight. I meant heavyweight because people do not move like him at heavyweight. They're
Yeah.
not that light on their
no,
feet.
that's why you can say light heavyweight. It sounds natural to me, like the way he moved last night. I'm like, was it light? No, it is heavyweight. 'Cause
Yeah.
Joe's junior, but like, yeah, he moves like a light heavyweight.
yeah.
And the fact that he worked over the legs shows that he could stick to a game plan and not just go out there and brawl and sort of rely on like, oh, I'm gonna knock this guy out. He waited for the opportunity to come and he closed the show whenever he had him hurt. So
Yeah.
that shows that pretty intelligent fight IQ as well.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So good win for Cyril Game. We can't wait
Yeah.
to see you fight again.
Can't wait for JDS to go to
Bellator
PFL.
or
PFL.
One.
Cage Warriors.
Oh my!
The Brazilian commentary team.
He's probably best served coaching. He's a nice guy. I'm sure he has patience with his students.
No.
He's a
But-
good coach at a gym.
But how delusional he was like in the lead up to like the fights. Like, dude, you're on a 3-fight losing streak by TKO. Like,
Yeah,
no.
it's a good grin, buddy.
Yeah, it's just not the fighter that he was 10 years ago.
Not to rain on your parade,
No.
but reality is coming.
And that was like your favorite heavyweight for a while.
For a
right?
minute, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
JDS.
I rooted for him against Kane.
Yeah.
I like the dude a lot.
I think that second Kane fight, I feel like changed him for the worse. And he got good wins
Oh,
since
yeah.
then, but he's gotten worse since then too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was never the same. I mean, they got those were wars, and he got beat up. Like, not really
Fucking
wars because he didn't
cops.
do shit. He just got beat up.
Yeah. Well, the first one he won, but he clipped him real fast.
Yeah, that one. That was
Yeah.
whatever. But.
But so then the next fight.
Not much to say about this
I
one,
don't even want
really.
to talk about this
my
one. I
God.
lost a bet on this one.
To
Kevin.
who?
Why?
Just to one of my friends because
Why
I
you betting
picked
Sullivan?
I picked Souza.
He's
Ugh.
41.
I know, but I didn't.
He's
I,
1 million
I
years
know,
old.
but I figured like once it went to the ground, he was gonna wrap something up, and there's just those fucking elbows to the head.
So let me go ahead and say this is Kevin Holland versus Jacare Souza, and Kevin Holland wins by maybe the most insane
Yeah.
TKO KO I've ever seen in the first round. You were talking about it going to the ground in Jacare. Even before Kevin Holland started throwing those elbows, he was very competent
Yes.
off his back. I
Yes.
mean, he was throwing up
Active.
triangle attempts.
Yeah, as soon as
Yes.
it's like Souza tried to put him in danger, and he just immediately turned it into a situation where it's like, oh, this is actually Souza should be on the defensive here because it's like
Yeah.
he's got a
Right.
triangle right now.
And I don't think he expected it either. I mean, for all the people we've been saying lately, like, how do they not know how to use their legs at all in jiu-jitsu
He
when
does
they're a
it.
professional fighter? He definitely knew how.
Yeah.
He was throwing. He was using his hips. He was throwing his legs up for triangle attempts, and then started cracking him with vicious elbows, and
Oh
then
my
one.
God.
I couldn't believe the sound. Like how much power
That
he
one
was,
was so loud.
I'm glad you guys could hear the sound because there was music blaring.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
it was
couldn't hear
loud. You should
any
hear it.
sound, and I was pissed.
Man.
Country
It's-
songs playing instead of nice
No, it
cracking
wasn't
elbow
country.
sounds.
It was music that I liked, but like at the same time, I didn't feel like buying the card, so I went somewhere that
Well,
was streaming
okay.
it.
It sounded like a professional baseball player swinging a bat
I
at a
can only
concrete wall.
imagine.
You should rewatch it with sound, actually.
I will eventually go back and rewatch it, but like I didn't even have to watch it to know that those elbows were adding up.
Yeah,
But-
so
It seemed like Jacare was kind of surprised about how active he was off his back. It
For
seemed like
sure
he was
Yes.
like, what the
I
fuck?
think
I'm
I
Jacare. I have top control. You should be submitting
Right,
to me.
exactly.
Instantly.
That's
Bend to
how
my will.
That's what I thought the fight was gonna go. Like as soon as it went to the ground, I was like, "Oh, it's a wrap."
I feel like y'all
And then
doubted
the
Holland,
elbows
though.
started, and
You
I was
were
like,
saying
okay.
that the jump to Hermanson was too.
I was
way
okay.
big.
I was okay with the Sousa jump. I had no problem
yeah, I
with
think
that.
But now, in
that's a better-
retrospect, though, do you
Now
think?
in retrospect, I think he might have fucked Jack Hermanson up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
but so I want to get to the actual KO. So those elbows caused Jacare to back out of his position a little bit, and I really can't even remember because it happened so fast. But they ended up on the ground again.
Well, they were talking. Did you hear him talking? Anyone hear that?
Hold on. They ended up.
Yeah, yeah,
they ended
sorry.
up on the ground, up against the cage, and then Jacare is in his full guard and postures up and lands a big right, and Kevin Holland goes, "Oh, that's a nice one," and you can hear it. And then he lands another one, and Kevin Holland goes, "That one was nice too. I think I had a dream about this."
Yeah.
That was like
What?
You guys
Apparently,
don't
he
have
knew the end of the dream too. Figured out the shit.
you guys don't have Snapchat, so I don't know about Instagram, but I posted that thing where it was like with the Moicano thing where him and I can't remember what the guy's last name is. But he's like, well, you should. Moicano said,
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
wanted to fight more. He's like, well, you shouldn't have submitted me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like what?
yeah.
So Kevin Holland was just talking to him, very calm off his back, and then I can't remember if he got his feet into Jacare's hips and pushed him off a little bit, and it put Jacare back on his knees,
Oh.
and Kevin Holland whips his leg forward and springs up and hits him from the ground in what looks like an Eddie Gordo move from Tekken, and rocks him, and he fall and. And
The
Jacare
accordion's
Souza
backwards.
it leans back, leans
It's
back
literally
because
out
he's
like
rocked.
this, like-
And then all of a sudden, Kevin Holland is already on his feet and rocking him again.
Yeah, just pounding them out.
And then it was over. And Jacare
Was
was
it? Ow.
Was fucking
Ow.
on. I never use this.
He was
term.
having a dream about Kevin Holland. He was like,
right.
I use this term very few times. He was on fucking Queer Street.
yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't know
Done.
where he
Hey,
was.
hey.
I don't care.
Perfect,
Y'all
right?
have said way worse than that.
Not on the
so I don't
podcast.
care. Yes, you have.
Maybe sexist stuff, but
No, that's worse than fucking that.
He turned getting up into a strike. Like
yeah.
Yeah,
It was wild.
I've never seen anything like it. Like it was insane. I couldn't tell if he was breakdancing or throwing a punch. And Jacare Souza couldn't sit on the stool. He was having a hard time
No,
sitting
he-
down.
And how's
Yeah.
Holland gonna fucking joke with him like 15 seconds before, and then end his fucking
Life.
consciousness?
Career.
Yeah, just like, I'm like, dude, you were just joking with him, then you put him out like that. That's kind of shit. Like, you know what I mean?
It's rude.
It is. It's like I thought you guys were pals for a minute, then he fucking knocks him out. Like, okay, I guess you guys weren't that close, you know?
yeah.
I gotta say, Kevin Holland might be becoming my favorite current fighter.
Yeah.
He is definitely like I went live on Instagram and I was like, I don't know if I'm, buying into the Holland fight or the Holland hype. I think Jacare might be able to submit him, and then this happened, and I
Made
was
you
like,
look foolish.
Wow, I
Well,
look
Holland
like
has
a dumbass.
a little suspect.
Fuck you,
loss in
Brandon.
the last- I mean, like
Yeah.
you've had how many fights?
He was submitted by Brendan Allen last October.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, what? Fuck it, whatever. Because, like, submissions, though, to me, though, submission is, like, you can get better at defending in offensively attacking submissions.
Yeah.
Like, if you get knocked out because your chin is, like,
Suspect.
Yeah, then it's, like, that's a little more worrying about a game.
Yeah.
Or if you get submitted the same way 5 times, like Michael Johnson getting, like, rear naked choked or whatever, or, that's a little more suspicious, too. But you can always defend submissions better and learn and work on that. But, I mean, looks like he did. His ground game looked great.
Yeah,
So.
looked
His ground game looked really good. He looked confident. He looked calm. He never looks nervous. This guy has confidence through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
he's a fun
He called
character.
out Chimaev. You got to have some balls.
Yeah, he called out Chimaev like for next week or
Yeah.
the week after.
Yeah,
Like
it was wild.
I love active fighters. So like literally,
Yeah.
to make a fan out of me fastest is to be an active fighter.
and he's been very fucking active.
Right,
it
5
was
fights this
5.
year. That's the most.
August.
In 7 months.
What?
Yeah.
It was like
Since
July,
May.
August,
May was his
July. It's wild. He's got like 5 fights in the last year.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 fights in like 7 months or something
Yeah.
Something
ridiculous.
like that. Yeah.
And you just compare him to like someone like in the division because like there's more egregious fighters that don't fight, but like someone like even like Till,
Right.
who like who fights twice a year, and it's like they're out and they have poor showings and they're not as exciting. He's exciting, fights a lot, great on the mic, finishes
Yeah.
people as often as
And
possible.
because
Yeah.
of that, hell, Holland's passed y'all up, bub. Like,
Yeah.
he's probably going to get a #1 contender fight.
What was like that link you
Pretty
said
fast,
about
yeah.
like Leon, right?
Yeah, he has like fucking like, even like Islam Makhachev. He has like 8 fights, like 6 fights in like 8 years or something like that.
Right.
It's like, dude, how do you not have how do you have money? Like, what do you do for a living? You don't fight. Like, if you don't work for 2 years, you're not. That's not your job anymore.
Right.
I still don't work at Walmart DC. I haven't worked there in 3 years.
Yeah.
It ain't my job anymore.
Yeah,
So-
but that link you said about the fighter pay, how he's already made more money than Leon Edwards. Like, well, yeah, of course he has. He's fighting.
Yeah,
he's
and
not,
winning.
and he's and winning and getting bonuses. Like
Right.
literally I forget the numbers, like 700,000 since he's been in the UFC. Well, that's also 10 fights
Yeah.
and bonuses. So per fight, it's probably not even that much.
But he knows if I ain't making a lot per fight, I gotta fight a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
Seriously, and that's how you gotta look at it. And it's like these guys aren't even fighting fucking once or twice a year. And it's
And
like,
he's built such a name for
Yeah.
himself this year that he's going to start getting some serious checks. I mean, he has the potential to be a
star.
superstar.
especially like
I think
him,
he's already a star now after this fight, and I think he has the potential to be a superstar.
and like him versus Izzy on the mic would be fun. The back and forth banner because like he'd probably get under Izzy's skin.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, and just
he was already under
Oh
Izzy's
yeah,
skin.
100%.
I don't know if it's gonna matter.
But here's the thing
know,
with
but-
Izzy:
Right.
is he's so good at getting under your own skin that you don't even know he's under your skin.
Right.
Like with Paulo Costa, I mean,
Yeah.
when the lead up to that fight, you would have
Obviously,
thought
in the
like
aftermath, you could tell he was. I mean, he dug at him because
Exactly.
he won't let it go.
exactly. That's exactly what I'm
But
saying.
I don't think it matters if Izzy gets riled up because I don't think Izzy's gonna do what he's gonna do in the fight. Like some fighters think like someone like Aldo's mad and fights mad. Izzy has too many fights to fight mad versus Holland if they fight.
Right.
Right.
Like he's just gonna fight the fight anyways.
Right.
But he'll probably admit I'm fucking mad or he's annoying or
Yeah.
whatever.
This is what's crazy is the fact that Souza, holy fuck, he only
And
like
two
two
strikes.
strikes.
Yeah.
Two good punches on the ground whenever like.
I
they're-
mean, 2 of
Yeah.
2,
And-
but
and-
like, fuck.
and that's the punches he commended him on it.
Yeah, he said. That's a
Two
good one.
strikes.
Well, I couldn't hear anything, so I wouldn't know.
Kevin Holland has a very positive attitude. He will let you know when you're doing well.
Yeah, he supports his strikes against him.
I buy
him.
into the hype now, though.
Yeah.
After
Well,
this
this-
one,
this-
I buy into the hype.
This was the fight. This was the fight to decide if the hype was real. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as much as I was enjoying Kevin Holland before this, the people he were fighting were probably outside the top 25.
Yeah.
Well, he was ranked what when we looked last week? He was like 30 something, maybe. I
Yeah,
think.
it was way
Yeah.
down there, right?
And like I don't think Jacare was ranked, but also we have to respect Jacare's ability to be top level. He might not be. He might be a step under that now, but the way he handled
Yeah.
Jacare,
This
Yeah.
is a veteran
I
fighter.
mean,
Right.
yeah,
That could beat a
Dominant-
top
and-
12 guy. Like,
I've never seen somebody get a KO from that kind of space.
yeah.
And-
Yeah, it was wild.
And you think about somebody like in the top 10, like say if he fought Brunson, that'd be a great fight because like I don't think that Brunson is like dynamic enough to deal with like Kevin Holland and where he
Yeah.
could strike in the different phases. 'Cause he has a wrestling game and he has a striking game, but he's like fighting in the gaps, like I mentioned in the chat. He's in the gaps fighting and landing strikes, and that's where you get knocked out when you don't see it coming.
Right.
Do you think Kevin Holland's better than Edmund Shabazian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think that he has less glaring holes. Like Edmund's pace, like Edmund can be a great fighter, but his coaching,
He's with
he's with Edmund.
Edmund.
As well.
Yeah.
Another Edmund.
Hey, I just don't know how people are still going to that man for.
No.
I think it's just because they're like fucking Armenian. Like literally,
Well,
literally.
Moose is Armenian.
Well, Moose
But
also is like from Sweden
Rondo
too.
wasn't Armenian.
No, he's Armenian.
So-
He's Armenian, Iranian, and he lives
In Sweden.
in Holland.
Yeah, he's Swedish, right?
No, Dutch.
That's the same place.
No, it's not. I'm
Look at
Dutch.
me.
I'm not Swede. I'm not Swedish. I'm Dutch.
All right, you're American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, American is not a nationality.
I've
We
never
are-
been proven they're different, so
Oh
Okay.
my god.
All right.
Same place.
So great win for Kevin Holland. Can't wait to see him fight again. Jacare, Bellator.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Jacare, I mean, I respect Jacare,
Every
dude.
might have
time
ran
you guys
into a-
say Bellator, I take it as a stab.
It is a stab.
he might have ran
Oh,
into
thank
a,
you, Brandon. Everything from you
He
is a
might have ran
fucking
into a
stab.
freight train, though. You know what I mean? Like,
You get fired from Walmart, like, Bellator for you in your next job.
Well, I'd probably make more.
That's all a
man.
stab there. That's all a
I'd
stab
probably
there.
make more working for Bellator than fucking Walmart.
All right, so then the next fight was Mackenzie Dern versus Verna Jandiroba, which Mackenzie Dern won by decision. I think everybody in the world expected this to be a BJJ display.
And it wasn't.
No,
It
it was
ended
a
up being a
kickboxing fight.
slugfest.
Yes.
And for me, the second time, I thought, oh, well, this fight is going to get fight of the night.
It was
Can
a
we
good
just
fight.
talk
It was
about
a great fight. It was a scrap. They
Yeah.
were slugging.
Slanging and banging.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about how much? Okay, so obviously I don't necessarily like Mackenzie Dern because of the way that she acts, but
And that she's less Brazilian than she is now. She's more Brazilian. I mean,
That
she
she-
speaks
okay.
worse English than
yeah,
she does now.
I don't, like that's whatever. But first of all, the fact that she looks way better than she did when she first started at strawweight. She's lost a lot of weight after having a child.
Yeah.
2, her striking is getting better as she is moving, up in the UFC.
Yeah.
I'm starting to actually like her.
Aw. She'll
But-
be happy to know.
But I just can't stand the accent thing.
Yeah.
I, honestly, I did
She
watch
looked
that
good,
video.
though.
It's really not that bad.
No, it is bad. How do you have a translator when you speak English?
that's weird.
You're from
I
Arizona.
don't
That is weird.
understand.
You're born in Arizona.
But like her jits is amazing. Her striking's getting
It
better.
was a close fight, by the way.
Yes, it was. They were both their faces were
She's
fucked
like
up.
a method actor with her language. Like it
Yeah.
makes me
Darren Till
feel
has
more-
a better Portuguese accent than her.
Regardless of her accent, though, her striking did look a lot better.
Yes.
The biggest problem she was starting to have was she was doing a lot of blind entries where she was swinging without looking.
And
Yeah,
loading up
I
on
was worried
punches.
Jandiroba
Loading up
Yeah.
on
was
punches,
gonna, like,
and
KO her.
Jandiroba was taking advantage of that, and like, oh, well, you're not even looking, so I'm just gonna hit you in the face.
But like, who do you think at the end of the fight who looked worse, Jandiroba or Dern?
I think that Dern was taking over the last round she got her. Plus, Jandiroba went for a fucking armbar like last 10 seconds, landed on top and got punched a few times. It was like, that
Yeah.
looks terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
Looks bad
She
for
literally,
you.
Jandiroba asked how much time was left, and
And
then
then did
immediately
it.
jumped for an armbar, and I was like, why?
Well, how could you? I mean, like, I obviously don't have a lazy eye, but how hard do you think it would be to fight? I mean, obviously Michael
Does she
Bisping
have
was
a
think
lazy
they
eye?
see-
fine,
I
but
think
like,
they see straight. I don't think it's
You
like,
think?
But she has a
I don't
lazy.
think it
Oh,
bothers
I didn't
me.
even notice.
oh yeah, bad.
And I was calling her Jan Daroba. Like her first name was Jan, and I was like, that's her name now. Jan Daroba. Just change it.
I mean, good for Mackenzie Dern. I don't necessarily care for her, but it's kind of funny that she landed 0 takedowns out of 5.
It's actually troubling because her striking is good. It's better, but it's not like going to compete with the top of the division.
No.
So
And-
it just
Jandiroba's real
If
long
sh-
though. Probably hard to get her down.
And if
Like,
Dern stays at strawweight, like I feel like, I mean, obviously 125 you have Shevchenko,
beat
but-
the shit out of her.
100%. But I feel like there's less depth at 125 than there is at
Yeah, she could get a
115.
title shot faster because
I'm
it's
just
like
surprised she fucking made weight.
it's like so you'd be fighting like Roxy Modafferi, like
Yeah.
fucking.
And she beats Roxanne.
Yeah,
100%.
she's better jiu-jitsu and she's better striking.
Right.
Well, and with the takedowns, I don't know how concerned I am because one, Jandiroba is long. Also, man, she was jacked.
Yeah.
She had like chest muscles.
Yeah,
I
and,
know.
She had like fucking a ripped chest.
and
Like,
her arms were crazy. Like there was
Yes.
definition. She had big shoulders. I was like, Jesus Christ. This
her hair was wild too.
yeah.
It's like
I saw.
her.
I know.
I saw a picture. It said the Askren family, and it was Askren, Hooper, and her.
Mom Jan the mom.
Oh man, but
Oh,
it was a great
God.
fight. Again, I thought this was going to end up getting fight of the night because it was a slugfest. Man, they were swinging.
Yeah.
every time a woman's
And
jacked,
I was
she looks like Vonderlei.
And
Yeah,
actually,
same-
to
it's
answer
a
your
woman with
question,
Vonderlei.
Every time a woman's jacked, they look like Vonderlei.
Oh my god.
Maybe Vonderlei looks like a male version of jacked women.
Yeah, that's what it is.
and actually to answer your question, who looked worse? It might have been Mackenzie Dern, but it was because of one knee that broke her nose.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
was-
really
I
made it.
know.
a
It
lot
wasn't
worse.
like she was getting beat up. The last round, I think,
No.
was pretty clearly hers.
Yeah.
First round too. So
Yeah.
I feel like Jandiroba's face looked a lot worse than Dern's would, and I was talking to a kid that I'm friends with, and he was like, I don't know, they both look really fucked up, and I was like, I don't know, man.
like I
think
said, it
this
was
is going
just
to come down to. I
But
think Dern's going to win this.
To her credit, like every Brazilian automatically looks older than they are. Like she looks like she could be 40. And
Yeah.
Wait, Jandaroba?
Yeah. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she is probably like 31 maybe. I don't know if she is, but like she looks. They all look like their age, and like the Nog brothers just look like they're fucking always
60.
been 55.
they've looked the same way since they were like 20.
Yeah, like,
you know
it's
what
like
I mean?
I mean, good for Mackenzie Dern. I'm starting to become a decent bit of a fan.
I'm
I like
actually-
her jits.
I like her enough. Like, I don't-
I'm a fan regardless, just because her jiu-jitsu is fucking
amazing.
awesome. Like I love
It's
watching good jiu-jitsu.
amazing.
So great win for her. Can't wait to see who she's going to fight next. And we'll move on to the fight I was probably the most hyped for on
I think
the card.
everybody was most hyped
Yeah.
for this fight.
And it was Tony Ferguson versus Charles Oliveira. I always want to say Olivier for some
yeah,
reason.
that's like a French man.
I know. Charles Oliveira.
He
and
dominated first.
It was a decision win, and he dominated the entire
From
fight.
pillar to
Do you
post,
think?
dude.
Do you guys agree that probably all 3 rounds were 10-8s?
Yeah.
Maybe some of the
Because I
Maybe
don't
the
remember.
last-
I don't remember
was it-
the exact score.
maybe the second round wasn't maybe a 10-9.
Right.
Just
based
Because
off the
it was
second round.
definitely
He was
the
trying to
first and
submit
the
him,
third
so.
were definitely 10-8 rounds.
The first
Yeah,
round
I
is the one where he locked up that armbar,
Yeah,
right?
that's
right.
Charles locked up an armbar on Tony Ferguson that I cannot
Should've
believe
looked
Tony
away.
Ferguson did not
Should have ended
submit.
any fight.
Ugh.
That anybody else taps.
Yeah.
10 out
I
of 10
tap.
people
I
tap
wonder
to
if
it.
Tony knew how much time was left, because it's like, dude, did you just sit there? Would you have sat
Well,
there
he's
for
a
a minute and a
nut.
half?
Right.
His
Why
arm would
not?
have broke. His arm would have broke.
Yeah.
If it didn't already break, I don't know if it broke. but
Yeah. Did it?
He's
did
a
we know?
nutball.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
I mean, he might not have won the fight, but I mean, if you
Tough as shit.
He's got
ask
some
anybody,
bruising on
they
his
say
arm
Teddy
right there.
Ferguson's a
Yeah,
nutball.
It was just insane that he
I
didn't
think it's a
tap.
different arm.
And
It's a different arm.
honestly, it was crazy that he got dominated so much, and every time the round ended, he did like a back somersault to get up. It was fresh as hell.
Yeah,
he
he
just
just
couldn't
got-
do anything.
Charles is just good, man. I think it's safe
I'm
to say
very
Khabib
impressed.
dominated Ferguson.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say Khabib would
Yeah,
have dominated
you sent a
Ferguson.
message in the group chat, and you were like, "Well, it's safe to say that I guess Khabib versus Ferguson wasn't something we're missing,"
Yeah,
and you're
didn't-
100% right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Like,
mean,
think
I
if
if
wasn't,
Charles Oliveira can do that to you,
and I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting like.
I don't think anybody was expecting that kind of
Yeah.
domination.
No,
No.
the first round they kind of stood up more than they did the last 2 and 3, but
But
if this
Tony
was,
wasn't winning the stand-up.
no,
No.
not at all.
And I expected, even if it got to the ground, like, Tony's got those elbows, he'll slice at it. Man, he never really got a chance to get off
No.
anything from the.
His
if
arm was in
anything,
position to
Charles
move
was
straight
landing
back.
more elbows than Tony would
Right.
from being on top.
Charles never let him get in position to swing on him from the bottom either.
No,
Like,
I'm
he-
impressed. I definitely
flattened
am
him.
kind of buying
I
into
just
the hype.
I just feel like Tony, like watching his fights in general, like he's always sort of had like really bad fundamentals. Like his boxing fundamentals are really
Right, he's
bad.
awkward
Whereas
fighter is
people
where
don't.
is where he shines.
He's
Right.
chinny.
He took a lot of damage in the Gaethje fight without
Yes.
going out. Like he's
Yeah.
not as chinny. He gets like hit awkwardly when he's like in a bad position.
That's a better way
Yeah.
to
and he
word
gets
it.
dropped
Yeah.
from like that and rolls around.
Yeah.
Right.
But like even like his like I said in the chat, like I'm not blaming the loss because like this version of Tony has probably always existed, but like he just isn't at a fucking high level camp. He
Yeah,
trains
he
a
needs
random
a coach,
dudes.
man.
Yeah, and like it's just like
He
and
needs
that
a game plan.
and that like I said, that's cool and that's like impressive until you lose to somebody who's in a fucking camp with a good game plan.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's skilled and strong and like
Right.
has sparring.
And you would think, like, I mean, your last fight was supposed to be against Khabib, and that's what that's what you train for or whatever. And then it's like, oh, well, here's this.
benefit of the doubt. Like you get benefit of the doubt too. Like, oh, short notice. So Gaethje doesn't have a long training camp for it.
Right.
Cut weight twice. All these other sort of extenuating factors. This time it's like, well,
Well, it had-
you
Right,
just
and
fucking got
I remember
skilled.
saying,
Yeah.
like, Tony has more time to prepare for this because he knows what he's coming against. Because whatever way you want to look at it, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, those two are the fucking same.
Yeah.
They're exactly the
Who,
same. They're Ferguson and Oliveira.
Well, Oliveira's better.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think
obviously
he's a little
we've
better.
seen now, but before in the lead
I
up to it.
probably thought he was better beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
little better.
he's got the most
Well,
he's got the
let's
most
just-
submissions in UFC
No,
history.
you're
You would've
right,
thought
but
he
let's
was a
just
little
take it
better, but you
before
would've
the
thought
Gaethje fight
you would have thought Tony had
now,
the,
you know what I mean?
had the skills to like
Compete.
compete there, but
Right.
It,
I
now-
knew Oliveira was going to win.
Now you got to question whether it's like, man, that 12 fight streak that Tony was on, did we overvalue some of those fights and like maybe?
Well, when we go to the matchups, I want to look and see. I want to see how the names, because I know a few of the names, but I don't know how when it gets deeper down. I can't remember exactly.
Well,
who.
I mean,
some
look-
decent wins on it.
Yeah.
His
No,
biggest one
right.
was Dos Anjos.
That and Barboza at the time. Barboza was
Yeah.
a good win at
Yeah.
the time. But like, my old hesitancy about picking Charles was like, in the past he's quit, and like that's a mental thing.
Right.
And like you don't know whether or not, I can't tell if somebody has the ability to change that in themselves. That's hard to quantify whether or not that's a stride you can make in your game, a mental game.
Right.
It's a big hurdle to jump over.
Right.
It seems like he did well with not getting behind and letting him wilt him, and that's how Tony
But he
wins a lot of
wasn't
his
he
fights.
never got in a
Well,
a
did you guys
situation
think
where he
that
could
it was
win.
ever going to be a sub and knockout? Because I didn't. When we were watching it, my friend and I, we made a bet on it, and I was like, Oliveira by decision. There's no way they either sub each other out or they knock each other out. It's not happening.
No, I thought that Tony. If I were to pick a finish, it'd be that Tony would lose until he started getting tired, and Tony started.
If it was a fine round, 5 round.
Attrition,
Yeah.
over attrition on him, and
But-
he would get overwhelmed like he did. He did
Right.
against Felder. He got pounded out by Felder on top, and it's just like seeing that looked like something Tony could do until Charles just swooped in and just implemented a game plan instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It doesn't appear that a 5-round fight would have fared any better.
No.
No.
Oh no, I just.
I mean, you would
Well-
think that going in, yeah.
well, I
Yeah.
don't know about his guy. Like you don't know his guy saying 5-round Tony might look different than 5-round Charles,
Yeah.
even
Right.
if he is winning.
Yeah.
But I'll say Charles just looked like a extremely intelligent fighter.
Yes,
did,
his
yeah.
fight IQ is very
Mature.
When
Yeah.
those elbows from the bottom, he didn't ever give Tony the space for it. Whether he was in close on him and keeping him pinned down, or whether when he postured up some, he wasn't close enough ever for Tony
Or
to
kept-
implement those
kept
elbows.
His legs in front of him.
Right?
Teddy,
Big brother him.
Yeah.
He
Say
said,
Uncle Teddy.
Uncle.
It was. I have to say that might have been one of
Oh,
one of the craziest dominations of a top 5 fighter in a weight class
Right.
I've ever seen.
100%.
But
I agree
also-
with you.
Also, like
After
notice,
the last one with Gaethje versus Teddy. It
watching
was 8 fucking rounds.
Yeah,
Though,
of
Well-
complete domination.
But watching Tony too, it's like I noticed that he looked a little more gun shy on the feet. Like usually he just pushes the pace. Like you watch the Pettis fight, and maybe it has to do with the level of opposition and who he's fighting.
Yeah.
But like I'm not saying he's aged out. Like he's past his prime. That's why he lost. Because like that's you can't prove that either way. It's just whatever. It's based on the
But
performance.
he's put himself through a lot, and he's getting older.
Right, he's been in a lot of wars, but like he just didn't really come forward as often as like you expect from him, and then he needed to make it dirty.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something I
That's how he
said.
needs to fight
That's something I
always.
said. I can't remember if it was in a message or on one of our last podcasts. Though, were we sure Tony Ferguson was going to apply that same kind of pressure after he did it to Gaethje
Yeah, it was on
and
the
got
last
fucking
podcast, yeah.
rocked? You know
It was
what I
on
mean?
it was on one of the clips that I clipped up.
Does
Yeah.
that make you a little gun shy when somebody breaks something in your brain and you
shouldn't
start
be against
twitching?
all
You
of
know,
it.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, like, that fight got stopped by twitching. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
By like the stress of
You
your
should know
body.
That was
You should
wild,
know
though.
yourself and know that Oliveira isn't Gaethje on the feet. So like,
Yeah.
why, I
But
don't know.
as we keep saying, like that's one of the reasons we got so high on Charles is because his striking has been looking so much better.
More lethal, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like it's weird about matchups because like you saw the Khabib fight against Gaethje and you saw Tony versus like if Tony would have tried to grapple with Gaethje, he probably could have fucking
Maybe
submitted him,
could've
dude.
Yeah.
Like that game
Yeah.
plan. Like now in retrospect, knowing what we know about Gaethje is like if they fight again, I'm like, well, Tony could fucking take him down, maybe.
Yeah,
And
so
just
maybe-
dominate him on
Maybe
the
his
ground.
major
Yeah.
problem is, dude, get a fucking camp.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
get
like
a fucking can.
and like game plan, like hey, we don't know how fucking Gaethje looks off his back. Put him on his back. Work some double legs. Work
Right.
some like trips. I don't know.
I
That's a
think
big
everybody's
fall, man.
game plan against Gaethje should now be get him on his back.
Oliveira versus Gaethje, dude, he fucks up Gaethje on the ground real bad.
Fucks him
'Cause,
up.
And
like-
now, how do you feel about Michael Chandler, though? I feel like Michael Chandler fucks Gaethje up on the ground, too.
I mean, like he could, yeah. I mean, like but Chandler,
But the stand-up is a different story because, like you said, he's been knocked out by a fucking featherweight.
right? But like, I just feel like Tony's probably better on the ground than Gaethje, and if Tony couldn't put up a fight off his back when Tony has a pretty good guard and pretty good
Yeah.
back game, he's gonna fuck up
yeah,
Gaethje even
Oliveira
worse.
should.
He's probably gonna
Yeah.
sub Gaethje really fast.
I can't lie. The fight, like now, the fight I'm upset we didn't get to see is Charles versus Khabib.
Right.
Yeah.
Because-
Yeah, that could be Khabib's toughest test now.
Because
It's looking
Charles off
like
of his
what's
back is a
now.
nightmare.
Right. But that hesitancy to get overwhelmed is more likely to happen against Khabib than anyone else in that whole division.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I
you know,
would-
Because he does it to everybody.
I-
Yeah.
I- you know, it's interesting now. Do I think Charles would win? No, probably not.
No,
It just-
I don't. Yeah.
No, it's hard to pick against Khabib though.
Yeah,
like
after seeing that shit,
everything that
But
we've
those
seen
fucking
from
leg
him.
kicks that he was landing on Ferguson too.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
you know,
and Gaethje's most success was landing leg kicks on Khabib.
Yeah.
but I don't know how. But like I said, seeing Charles get pounded out from his back by Felder,
Yeah.
it's like,
It gives
if
you
yeah,
a
like
little bit of a
if
pause.
it gets in a bad position against Khabib, it just like
Yeah.
maybe
I just
he
think-
reverts back to there.
Khabib is just so dominant on his ground and pound. It's unreal.
I mean, Charles versus Connor sometime. Is Connor
Well, that-
run into
he
another
said-
motherfucker that can't?
Well, Charles, I do want to actually point this out. Charles said, they asked him who he wanted to fight. He said, yeah, Gaethje can go fight whoever he wants. I don't have any interest. He's like, I want the winner of Connor and Dustin. And I think he probably said that because he knows exactly
That's the
what
number one
happens.
contender.
Well, and I think he knows what happens with him and Gaethje. He's going to take Gaethje down.
Yeah.
And Gaethje's not going to know what to do.
Right. Which is a fucking just like odd to say because he's such a I mean, they always talked about like, oh, well, Gaethje's wrestling, Gaethje's wrestling, Gaethje's
Doesn't
wrestling.
even exist.
Yeah.
It
Doesn't
obviously
exist.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
Unless it's just like it's just straight wrestling and like you don't know how to defend any type of
He
jiu-jitsu.
obviously at least used to know how to wrestle, but he obviously cannot
It's like-
correlate it into MMA.
right.
It's like talk about Yoel's wrestling. It's like he doesn't really use it. He just stand and he
Well,
uses
yeah.
it for a second, but he doesn't fucking
He can
use
wrestle,
it really.
but as soon as he gets on his back, he's a turtle. And
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
over. Like,
All right, so fucking incredible win by Charles. That had to be a performance of the night. And moving on, we're going to get to the main event, Figueiredo versus Moreno.
I think
And once we
performance
saw
of-
this fight, we all knew that this was the fight of the night.
Yeah.
It was a
Kinda hard to
decision.
talk, though.
No, it wasn't really a
was a
decision. Actually, it was a what was it? A
draw.
majority draw. Majority draw for Figueiredo. So Figueiredo retains the title. And, man, this was a fight. I don't think any of us expected Moreno to be able
No.
to handle the power of Fig the way he did.
And they both cracked each other a bunch of times.
Like we said, I don't know if it was before the podcast or when we said it, but
think
Fig,
it was-
I was actually more nervous about Fig getting knocked out than I
Yeah.
was Moreno.
Yeah,
Moreno had the
there were
best
definitely a
chin.
couple more moments where I was like, "Ooh, Fig might." I mean, he might be going down. It's important to say that the judges would have picked Fig to win this fight.
If he
The
didn't
point
kick him in
is
the
what
dick.
made it a
yeah,
draw.
but you
Yeah.
thought Moreno
But
won.
yeah, I think all of us.
I thought Moreno
I'm
won.
not. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't object to the draw. Like, but a gun to my head, if you asked me to pick who won that fight, I probably would have
Yeah.
gave it to Moreno. I can't really argue against Fig though. Like, it's
Right.
hard. It's
Yeah.
a very close fight.
I was not
to
upset.
be the champ, you have to beat the
yeah, I
champ.
get that.
I hate that
Yeah.
I hate it to
Seriously.
a degree.
because it's like that's not. You shouldn't get a perk. Really,
Right. You
No.
shouldn't get like an extra point because you're the champ.
No, right. I agree,
The
but
judges do- the judges
but
would've
to a
picked him.
degree though, it does hold some weight if you're the champion. It's a draw.
Well, I mean that makes sense because you can't have the title just go into limbo.
Right.
Yeah.
But
It just makes less sense.
I mean, the
for that way.
striking was pretty even throughout, and Moreno was on the backpedaling a lot.
He was on the- but-
it's pretty even.
He beat a lot
was
of
on the
fans.
back. He was backpedaling, but he was then landing counters combos,
yeah,
not just
definitely.
punches.
Exactly, yeah.
What was crazy to me, like when I'm looking at this, to me it seemed like for every one Fig threw, because Fig was trying to land power
Pot shots,
punches.
yeah.
And for every one Fig landed, it seemed like Moreno was landing 3. I mean, he was landing that body head all night.
Right.
All night.
And Fig was fighting really dismissive of like Moreno's striking.
Yeah.
Like he was like this like fuck
Especially
this
at
dude. I'm
first.
gonna walk him down and knock
Yeah.
him out.
And it
Yeah.
was not working.
No.
Yeah, and like you had made the statement about it's like after this fight, I like the Cody fight. I think
Yeah.
Cody fucking knocks him out.
I don't know if he
I
gets
give
one of
Cody
those
a big-
bombs
I
though.
give-
If he catches some of those bombs that
Yeah.
Moreno caught,
Oh,
that's tough, too.
yeah. I mean,
I
you
give
gotta
Cody a
you gotta
great-
make sure your
a
head
great
movement is
chance. I
okay.
mean-
But if he hits him with the power, the kind of power and the speed that Cody has,
I feel like
he can catch him.
Moreno's a worse matchup for Cody than fucking Fig is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if he,
No, yeah,
if
I
he
can
doesn't
see
get knocked
that.
out and like he like
I
you
can
know.
see that.
What's crazy to me is this has now become an exciting division.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like this is the best fight that has ever happened in this
And
weight
Dana
division.
wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah,
Like,
he,
what?
He doesn't anymore.
It's
No.
I mean, not keeping them afloat, but man, like we would have been pretty barren at the end of this year if not for these guys.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, it was an incredible fight, a slugfest, back and forth. Amazing that Moreno didn't get knocked out by some of those power punches. Amazing that Fig didn't get knocked out by some of those fucking combos.
Yeah.
And
In this,
High kicks.
and
high
everything
kicks,
is,
man.
everything is very even when you look at it. I mean, 2 of 4 and 4 of 8.
I've never seen
I mean,
so many
58
momentum
and
changes in a
53.
fight. Like it literally, like he goes 3, he throws 3, you throw 3. He
Yeah.
goes, and
Yeah.
like it just back and forth the entire.
It was a
time.
good fight. I
It-
was impressed.
And as much as I wanted Fig to win just so we could see the Cody Garbrandt fight, now I'm less interested in the Cody Garbrandt fight. Do I still want to see it?
Yeah.
Yes. But what I really want to see is the rematch of this.
The-
I mean, this has the potential.
The right and true thing to do is to give Moreno.
Right.
Yeah.
And this has, I mean, this has the potential to be an incredible trilogy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is the kind of wars that will just completely put this division on the map.
And one of the most highly anticipated rematches of the year, and it's a flyweight fight.
That's
crazy.
insane.
I know.
That's crazy.
That's insane to think
Moreno
about.
was also all class about the whole thing. Like he was.
Dude, he's easy to root for. Like he
super
made a
nice
lot of
guy.
fans with this fight. Like,
Ass
seriously.
baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was hilarious.
I like it. I like calling him ass
I was
baby.
laughing
Ass
when
baby.
you said that.
But yeah, it's like he's very lovable, but like he's a fucking warrior, has a great chin,
Yeah.
heart. It's like dude, he was not scared at all. Fig.
Oh yeah, I got to tell you, when they were showing the replay of Moreno's last fight, I was like, man, we don't even really know how good Moreno is by watching that
He's
fight.
good.
He is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a warrior. He's like Mexican chin. Seriously.
Warrior.
Like I don't think he even looked rocked.
No.
No,
Literally,
it was
like-
insane. Like
They
I-
were both eating insane punches
Yeah, I
from
felt
each
like
other.
Fig was
Fig was
far more
closer.
moments where I felt like, ooh, Fig's rocked compared
Yeah.
to Moreno. I
Yeah.
never
Morenos is
felt
like-
like he wielded whatsoever. I
there
thought,
were for sure moments I thought Fig was
Yeah.
rocked, but there were moments where Fig landed a punch. I was like, oh, gee.
Yeah.
No, his hands
he
are
didn't
still
react.
up.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He actually just hit him with a hook.
Rogan did that
He
too.
ate that
he
shit.
was like, oh, he kicked him in the body as he's hurt. And I was like, Moreno didn't even.
That's
Yeah.
why I
that
was
that was
almost,
that front kick he said he thought
Yeah.
hurt him, and I was like,
That's why I'm kind of like, I'm glad I didn't have any commentary because I was able to really watch it and just watch the fight, and I didn't have to hear any
Right.
other
That could be
outside
beneficial
influence.
too, for sure.
But question to you guys, like it's now that we have a better like data on these fighters and like this division now, I actually would love to see Mighty Mouse come back. I'm not
I
even
would
joking.
love it.
fucking cool.
Because I feel like Mighty Mouse, it's weird because they gave up, like he was the best fighter in the division. He lost against
he's one of the best in the world.
Yes.
and like he like took up Benavidez, Cejudo, like he has great stoppages, and like he got this rap as like being very boring. He just was so fucking good
His
that people weren't
opponents
competitive.
there.
No, and
Right.
people don't really
He was,
pay
I mean,
attention
he was
to
finishing
125.
people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
What's he done since he like?
He's
what's-
in one.
He's getting
He's about
ready.
to get a title
He's
shot.
about to get a title shot. Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
you're
but
saying.
he's won every fight since he's
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But like Mighty
He's
Mouse,
good.
like I feel like Mighty Mouse could beat Fig. Like the
Yeah.
way he fights,
I do too.
he's so smart and so technical that like yeah, he doesn't want to brawl like this, but like he would neutralize Fig's
I think it'd
game.
be silly to say that you don't think he could. Literally, Mighty Mouse, if he weighed 155 pounds, he might have been one of the biggest stars on the planet.
Yeah, it
I
just-
mean, skill set wise,
He's amazing.
it sounds ridiculous to say a 125 guy might have been at one point in time the best pound for pound fighter in the world.
But he did everything really well, high level.
Everything really well.
But he
His
was
clinch was
ranked
amazing.
number 1 pound for pound.
Well, he should have been. He
And
was
it's
like,
like there was always
was
the
at one
question of,
point,
like,
am I not
what's- Well,
mistaken?
are
I
his
think he was.
He was 1 or
opponents
2.
up to that level? And it's like, well, now you got to think like,
well, but
well,
he,
man, but did he just make everybody look terrible?
Well, and
Like,
regardless of whether his opponents were on that level or not,
He was treating them on-
He
he
was
wasn't.
treating them like they weren't on
yeah,
that level.
But
Right.
as soon as he
Nobody
leaves,
Nobody came close to beating him until Cejudo.
as
You know
soon
what
as
I
he
mean?
leaves, you get
And
all
even
these
then,
stars,
that's
and
like,
it's is that why they're
barely,
stars?
not
Because
even
like if
Right.
he was still there, would they
up in the
be
air.
gone into the abyss? Like would Fig have faced him at some point and just
Washed out.
gone?
Yeah.
I still just wonder how Dana feels. It was like, well, I traded probably the biggest, one of the
Askren?
biggest stars I had for Ben Askren, and
Well,
then that's what
I
happened.
think it worked
He
out.
loved that. He wanted
Oh,
to
I
see
know,
Ben Askren
I know.
get
He
fucked up.
hates, yeah,
I mean, ultimately,
100%.
it worked out too because the division's like it's
Way
more
more
popular
exciting.
than ever and shit.
Yeah.
And, and you might be in a position one day to bring Mighty Mouse back.
Mighty Mouse said he is going to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I mean,
thought I did
there's
hear
also
that.
Cejudo out there too, who's like,
But-
I mean,
but it's crazy. Like you think about like he finished beat Joe B twice. That's one of Fig's last wins.
Yeah.
You know, and then like you just think like Fig's great, but like we can't start thinking of like Fig's the best of all time.
No,
like
no.
like he's maybe exciting of all time,
Yeah.
but he lost.
No, he's got a long way to go before
he lost
replaces
a
Mighty
year and a
Mouse.
half ago. He beat Perez, who got knocked out by Joe Benavidez.
Yeah.
So that win's okay. You know, this is a great war, great fight. But then it's like Mighty Mouse stop Cejudo, stop Benavidez, fucking flying armbarred. Horiguchi, he armbarred in the last second of the fight.
Yeah.
So it's just like we can't be biased towards the new champion, new division that seems to have a new breath of fresh air in it. You know, you have to be perspective on.
It's
on the,
more
on the division.
exciting than ever, but that doesn't mean that he is the best ever.
Right.
And saying the flying armbar doesn't even do that enough credit
No.
because
It's a fucking
it was a
throw
slam.
armbar.
It was a slam
Throwing
into a flying
armbar.
armbar. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And-
But I give Fig a shot against Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, me too.
for
He has
sure.
power.
He's got enough power that you got to give him a shot. But
Not
I
even,
think
like it's honestly I have no idea who would win that fight.
I think skill set wise, I just think Mighty Mouse is one of the most well-rounded, skilled fighters. Of
He
all
wouldn't
time.
fucking brawl with him, dude. He
No,
would,
fuck
that
no.
that forward.
A lot of those punches, Mighty Mouse wouldn't be there for.
Right, and I feel like he just is too smart to like fight like this, and this makes for better TV. Yeah, you're talking about the fight of the year now. That would you have fight of the year with Mighty Mouse versus Fig? Probably not. It'd be a 50-45 in a fight that Mighty Mouse neutralized him. Maybe finish him later on if you got him gas enough. But it just would, so it's weird how they traded the best in the world for the most exciting division now for excitement, and that's what the UFC geared it towards. So it's kind of fucked up. You think about it, it's kind of fucked up because it's kind of fucked up the way they did it because but it's necessary.
We won't really know that for sure unless they fought because maybe Fig fucking destroys Mighty Mouse.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
But like now though, Cejudo needs to come back and fight in this division and fight these guys.
If he does, if not, just shut up and stop tweeting people.
Yeah, he's like fucking
Yeah,
Connor
he
without any hope
Same-
of coming back.
right.
It's like the
I don't even want to get into it.
So
he said something about
one thing I forgot to point out during that Charles versus Tony fight is that decision was 30-26.
it was fucking.
That's
Lopsided.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was 30-26.
Cejudo told Fig to. I think Fig challenged Cejudo, or somebody challenged Cejudo, and he told him to challenge him in English.
Yeah, but they were talking about fighting. He challenged him to a fight at 155 for another BMF.
Yeah,
fight.
well that's dumb as
Oh,
fuck
who
to
That's
said
say.
the
that?
dumbest fucking thing.
Who said that?
Fig.
Oh, he's
Oh,
what
that's
the
dumb.
fuck?
Yeah,
Dude,
I didn't even hear
the
that.
dumbest
Why?
fucking thing
Why
I've
would you
ever
fight
heard.
at 125?
155. You're like,
Why would you just
Wait,
fight for a real belt? Because
the
you
one
got
you
one.
have.
or fight Peter Yan.
Against the guy who vacated the fucking thing.
And why are you gonna go like 3 weight classes up?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Why would you do it at 155?
Fat Fig versus Fat Cejudo.
Why would
for
you
a
just do
made-up
it at
belt.
like
Hey man,
135?
let's juice up and fight at
You know,
155,
really settle this score. Both of us put on 30
and let's
pounds.
also make it a fight to the death.
What the fuck?
New idea. Fig gets on fucking Breno Ravel's shoulders. Cejudo gets on Moreno's shoulders. They fight on each other's shoulders.
I gotta give Fig a little bit of like leeway too. It's like, man, maybe that cut weight twice.
We should bring up too. They did. I mean, I was
It's not
making
an
fun
easy
of it.
weight
I
cut
said he
for
had
him.
a tummy ache, but he
Don't do it
was
then.
he was in the hospital the night before.
I think it's kind of a weight cut issue though.
Probably.
That's what I would guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like also like don't walk around with a fucking it's like I don't know. It's just like you blame like go to
If you-
135, dude.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
fight-
Right. If you know
135,
what
right.
if you know what weight class you're going to fight at, eat and put your
I don't feel-
diet around
I don't feel
fighting
bad
at that
for him
weight
in,
class.
Like, this is the life you've chose, but he's done it twice in like 3 weeks. So I think that deserves some like
Right.
maybe
No,
maybe
right.
he wasn't feeling the fucking best.
But my question is, you knew when you my thing is, you knew when you left that fight that you were
You
a
don't-
fight that you were
Right.
fighting
Stay there,
again.
yeah.
So why didn't you stay closer to that weight instead of having to cut it again?
I mean, because it's water
Right.
weight that they're cut. You know what I mean? It's
Right, but I mean,
But usually they do like a meal and they fucking eat like bad for a day. Yeah,
Right.
Usually they do that.
that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
But instead, since you knew that you were fighting again that night,
Just
I-
keep on keep on the train there. Keep
right.
on
Yeah.
I
the
don't
diet.
know. Yeah, that's what I
I don't
mean,
know if he even ate bad after. I have fucking no idea. I don't.
Come on.
But I mean like
dog.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe
he's great.
maybe it does play into his performance, but
it's a factor I think you got to think about in a rematch that maybe it looks even better though.
It's definitely a factor. He had to go to the hospital. He wasn't even there for the post-fight press conference. They took him to the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Moreno probably cuts way less weight and walks around closer.
They probably took him to the hospital.
They both
'cause of what
looked pretty
Moreno
big,
did, too.
though.
Yeah.
I imagine that hospital trip was Moreno sent him there. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was from the tummy ache the night before that they went to the hospital. He looked fine when he stepped in the cage.
Yeah, he
He
did.
was swinging pretty fucking heavy.
Thinking about this fight though, like the optics of the fight looks a lot better and a lot more exciting, and just like more has a more pull for the viewers. Like, not to be mean, but like fucking they look like actual grown men. Seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah,
seriously, you
it's
think
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Mighty Mouse. I'm not shitting on Mighty Mouse. He's small and he's great. But
Right.
like you just look at Mighty Mouse and like,
look like
it looks
little people.
bizarre. He just looks like a little man.
Yeah.
Right.
These look like grown men. They have like a few more inches. Seriously, and that does
No,
a
it
lot for the
matters.
viewer.
Optically, it's people get more excited.
Yeah,
for some
like
reason.
oh, it's a grown man versus another
Yeah.
grown man, not fucking midgets. Literally
Yeah.
midgets
Well,
fighting.
and
Yeah, I
honestly,
know.
the biggest thing that I was taking from last night's fight compared to 125 fights in the past was 125 bouts during the Mighty Mouse days. You never really were like, oh man, somebody could get knocked out at any second.
No.
In this fight, you were like, man, well, how are these guys not being knocked out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
the
mean?
power
So-
generator.
It's
was-
like, but
Yeah.
back then, it's like guys that were fighting over 125. It's like they fought there because like they were too small to fight anywhere else. Now you got guys who are like
Huge.
cutting like crazy
Jacked.
to get
Well, I mean,
there.
Fake could fight at 35
Exactly.
if he wanted to.
They're guys that are cutting to get there, whereas like 125 when it got started was like they were guys that were like,
Little
holy shit,
dudes.
thank God I don't have to fight these monsters anymore.
Right.
Right.
but I feel like Fig, you know, he's probably gonna eventually go to the 135. So
Yeah.
Peter Yan fight is always gonna be interesting.
That would be a really good fucking
They fight similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They fight fucking similar. Like they just load up weird. They have weird boxing.
Yes.
Peter Yan's a handful though for anybody.
How
you know.
old's Fig? 27 or
I,
something?
I'm
No, he's like
really-
32.
Really? Okay.
Kind of old. Kind of
Yeah,
old
He's
for.
probably getting to the point where that weight cut's gonna get real fucking
Yeah,
hard. though.
I got me and one of my friends were talking about it. He was like, well, I could see Fig going up to 35. And I was like, you're 100% right. I could see
Yeah.
Fig going up to 35 too. And if he fought Jan, that would
Within
be a
even a
really
couple
good
years.
fight.
Yeah, I think 135 is undoubtedly in Fig's future.
It's just crazy how much, like, you've seen in the last, 3-4 years, how many champions have just been like, all right, well, I'm going to go up above. I'm
And
going to go up
they do well,
above.
usually.
And they do well, and they
Yeah.
win. And it's just,
Well,
I mean,
I've
good
said
for
that
them.
for a long time. I'm like, man, a lot of these guys have to get to a point where it's diminishing returns. Like, you know, the weight ain't that big a deal. It's 5 fucking pounds.
Yeah.
That you're,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, unless you're between, like, lightweight and welterweight and fucking
Yeah.
light heavyweight or
It's just like if everybody
Well,
would agree
heavyweight
to stop
and
cutting weight,
heavyweight,
it would
yeah.
be better.
Yeah, but I feel like there's higher weight classes though too. Is like you think about the skill gap between middleweights and heavyweights. It's just
Yeah.
like middleweights are generally more skilled.
right.
They just like so you trade off. You're maybe a little bit lighter, but you're fucking coming up and you're more. You've always been more skilled at somebody that's bigger than you.
Yeah.
And like John Jones though, going up to heavyweights is different because he's more skilled. But heavyweight, it gets so big that these dudes will just fucking blast you.
Yeah.
Francis
They don't,
Ngannou.
it don't fucking matter. Or like, dude, Cyril Gain is a bad matchup for John Jones, dude.
Yeah.
He will fuck his legs up and just keep moving
Yes.
around. He's like a big John Jones that hits hard.
Right.
Jones said that, you know, I mean, he's like, I like going to heavyweight because these guys actually scare me. And maybe there's something to that, man. Maybe, like, it became hard to get up for the light heavyweight thing anymore. And, like, maybe
mean,
that fear does
Dude,
push
that's
him.
that's kind of a retcon though.
Yeah, I get it.
You're
But it's,
retconning
you
it,
know,
'cause, like, dude,
maybe
he
he's
barely won.
personally feeling that way, you know? I don't know.
That's bullshit because he had quite a few close decisions. So
Yeah, like,
get the fuck
Just
out of here.
wipe him out then for that not skilled.
Yeah,
Like seriously, honestly, like why would you go to split decision with people?
yeah.
Ever? Why, like your legacy could be ruined by a bad split decision call. Don't make it that
Yeah.
close. I can understand you not being motivated, but you have a killer like Thiago Santos, and
I
you're
don't
not
know.
even taking him
I
down.
don't know what it's like to dominate for fucking
I
15
do.
years, dude.
Dude, I do. 32 years, bro.
All right, well, let's get into
Whole
some
life.
matchups. We are obviously even going to hit the prelims here. We're going to start with Tisha Torres. And just looking at this, I think I like the Claudia Gadelha
Gadelia.
fight.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I think
Looking
she
at the rankings.
loses.
You think Tisha loses?
No,
to
Claudia loses to Tisha.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel the same way.
I mean,
She's
but we're
on
not trying to set anybody up for a win. We're just trying to pick a good matchup, and I
Yeah.
think that's
No, I
a
want
matchup.
Claudia to lose.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's a matchup that makes sense at this point.
I
They
hate
haven't
Claudia.
announced another fight
Claudia.
for Jan
Yeah.
Zionin or whatever. She's
Pretty good.
Yeah, she's made a
Jan?
little name for herself.
She
Yeah, I'm
needs to fight
interested. She's
Carla
probably the most
Esparza.
interesting
How
prospect.
is
of the
Carla
division.
How is Carla Esparza ranked
She's-
above her?
She's on a 3-fight win streak.
They're both on a 3-fight win streak. I
Was
mean,
it-
17-6 and 13-1.
Didn't
What one do you
Esparza-
think's more impressive?
Isn't there like a huge time gap between Michelle Waterson and Marina Rodriguez with Esparza?
Yeah, I think she didn't fight for a while.
It's like,
I don't agree with that. I think Jan should be above Carla.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Fight me.
But yeah, I think the Claudia Gadelha fight makes sense for Tisha Torres. The other Sam Hughes, I'm not concerned about looking for her. So then we're going to go to featherweight for Gavin Tucker. And let me get there. Featherweight. I wonder, like, I'm very curious to see where Gavin Tucker is even
Cody
ranked on
Garbrandt.
here. Cody Garbrandt. Gavin Tucker, where are you at, buddy?
Man.
Right there.
34.
Charles
He's from
Rosa.
Canada, eh?
Mersad Bektik.
Honestly,
he's
I feel a
He's on
big jump.
3-fight lose. Holy
I feel a
fuck.
big jump.
I
for
wasn't
this guy.
looking at that. I was looking at that. And then I looked and I was like, oh, yeah,
He
you're
got
right.
subbed by the guy with the worst hairline, Damon
Oh, my
Jackson.
God. I know.
What do you think about him versus Giga?
Dawodu?
That Giga.
Oh, he's a good. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
But fucking.
Or like,
Oh, dude, we forgot to mention that. Who did Damon Jackson just lose to? That fucking guy that hit him with a body shot combo.
Ilya Torpura.
Oh, Tapuria. Remember that? That body shot combo that slumped him
Yeah.
against the cage.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
don't remember it.
It was
What-
like a few weeks ago.
Typoria or whatever.
You don't remember?
Why
that?
why did you want to bring it up though?
It was sick.
Oh,
That's why. I like sick combos.
I don't know. I mean, I could see him jumping even higher though. Like, that was a pretty impressive performance.
Yeah, but
Well,
here's-
Dawodu's fighting
Who's above
Burgos.
Dawodu though?
He's fighting. Dude, him versus Tapuria. Whatever.
Darren Elkins.
yeah, Herbert.
Dude, Nate Landwehr. No, he could fight Andre Feely coming off a loss.
Pineda's at
Fuck
19,
it.
dude.
Who?
Pineda?
How?
19? How?
Yeah, it's weird.
I guess
Fuck it, fight Pineda, dude. You got it at 19.
he would smash
Pineda.
Pineda, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm for that though.
Why is Arnold Allen even around? He needs to fuck off.
Well, I mean, with the way you're saying that, you might as well tell like.
Jeremy Stevens, I could even see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Stevens needs to fuck off too.
Yeah,
I
that's
hate
what
I've
I'm
had
saying.
it with these
I'm trying to-
bums.
I'm trying to
Listen,
send
my
Tucker the
favorite.
assassin after
I've
fuck
watched
these
the
guys
fucking
up.
Calvin Cater versus Jeremy Stevens fight so many times it's not even funny, and I love watching him get knocked the fuck out.
I hate Jeremy
I do
Stevens.
too, dude.
I don't really have any ill will towards the man.
Hey, wait, the Cater
I just
fight was
can't
supposed to
stand
happen
him.
before we got back. Wasn't
What?
it? I thought the Cater fight was
No,
supposed
it's
to happen.
January 13.
I thought it was supposed to happen before we came back because remember I was like I kind of want to switch my pick. And you
No,
were
it's not until
No.
January.
Can't switch it.
like, yeah. I don't
Locked
know.
in. It's
I
in the
don't
bet.
care.
They put the bets in on Bet Online.
We're gonna move on to Fiziev, and he's ranked lower down, but I don't care. I think he should be fighting somebody up in this range.
Santos.
What is he ranked though?
He's ranked, I think, 20.
Drew Dober.
Dude, him versus Brad Riddell.
Judober actually has a fight,
I think
doesn't
he's
he?
a
Did he
fight
get his fight
fucking
scheduled?
Islam.
Makhachev.
He's fighting
Is he
Islam.
fighting Islam?
Yeah,
I missed that.
He might knock him out.
yeah,
No, that's gonna be a good one.
yeah. I'm a big
Maybe
fan of
Hernandez.
Judober.
He could fight Hernandez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Range right
He'd
there.
fuck up Hernandez though.
Hernandez, Ally Quinta.
Dude, he
Yeah.
doesn't fight.
Yeah.
He's fighting the housing market.
but I mean, if he is gonna fight,
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think he's gonna take that fight.
Yeah, I was
though.
gonna say Aquino, but it doesn't feel like he's even active right now. Like,
Kevin Lee.
Well, I
yeah,
thought Kevin Lee said he wasn't coming back for a while.
He says he's gonna be
He probably
May.
thinks he's too good. To
He said
fight
May.
Fiziev
He has
anyway.
he has an ACL tear.
He can think he can.
Well, I just know
yeah.
when he went to TriStar, he said that he was gonna take like a year or two off and like train, and then come back. I thought I'd.
he got
Well,
injured, so
And Kevin Lee can think that he's too good for that, but nobody above him is going to fight him anyway.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
No,
I think no.
Maybe Paul Felder.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Yeah,
I think that's a good fight for Felder, though.
I think Felder's riding a little high.
Yeah.
Felder seems kind of entitled too. Actually, he always.
Yeah.
comes
I mean,
across
he's
as
on a
somebody-
2-fight losing streak. I mean,
Well,
only,
he's-
you
Yeah,
could
the
put him
Dos
against
Anjos
like.
would know.
Yeah, but that Dos Anjos fight he took with a week notice,
No, right.
which
right.
gives him some bargaining power with the
Yeah.
UFC as
Yeah,
well.
I guess you're right there.
But dude, I mean, who's RDA gonna fight?
Yeah.
He needs to
I
fight
still
too.
think he.
Well,
I still think
they're gonna
fucking
push
Michael
him a little.
Who?
I still think Like, as much as I love Michael Chandler and I want to see the Gaethje fight, I think his first fight in the UFC needs to be somebody like a RDA or a Dan Hooker or a Ferguson.
RDA versus Ferguson at this point now.
That'd be a great fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Plus,
be a good
RDA
one.
doesn't hit that hard. Like he's good everywhere too. Like
Which
he
is
probably
why I
gonna
want
take
to
him
see
down.
Chandler fight him because
Yeah. I honestly, I think we are.
we
gonna
know how
end up
Chandler's chin is kind of against
Terrible.
featherweights.
Paper
You think we'll
mache.
get
I think we're gonna
RDA
end up
versus-
I think we're gonna end up getting Gaethje versus Chandler.
I do too, and I
Yeah.
think that's going to be a very interesting matchup.
I'd be nervous if I were you.
for Chandler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Brooks can take you out with a shot,
But how long
No.
ago was that?
I don't care how long. I don't care if he's a baby.
Oh,
Baby Brooks knocked out baby Chandler.
it still happened.
Yeah.
No,
the
you're
record.
right. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
mean Gaethje's a violent man.
no, right.
And like also, he ain't gonna Chandler's not gonna be running at him at that pace like that. Like if he gets takedowns, I think Gaethje, like his wrestling is good enough probably to stuff a shot or scramble out of it. But like Khabib is just like
Yeah,
that's a
it's not
weird ass
that
fight,
way.
dude. He was running at him, chasing him around the ring. Like there's no way to even fight. Like no one fights like that. So
Yeah.
it's a different fight with wrestling. It's not gonna be the
Yeah.
same wrestling fight.
Yeah.
I'm skipping the Cub Swanson just because I think we're all in agreement that not that we dislike Cub Swanson, that we're not entertaining the idea that he might go on a title run.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
gonna just go for an exciting
Just
fight.
a fun, like a Clay Guida fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good matchup. I like that idea.
I always like seeing Clay Guida get beat up.
So, well, because he's fun to watch get beat up. Honestly,
Hair flops around.
nothing against Clay Guida. I mean, it's just fun.
I used to love Clay.
Yeah, you used to love him a lot. When I first started talking to you loved Clay Guida.
My
I
manager.
still like Clay Guida. I mean, I don't think he's an amazing fighter. I just think he's fun to watch.
How
fight.
is he still fighting?
I can't believe he's still fighting.
My
There's a-
manager's brother is really good friends with Clay Guida. They're
Oh.
both from the same area in California.
He looks like he smokes a lot of weed, probably.
He
Yeah.
definitely
They
does.
lived
He
in
has that
they lived
surfer
on the same
dude
beach
vibe.
in
Yeah.
a van next to each
Well, I
other.
know for like ever back in the day they were talking about how he just like lived in a trailer, didn't care.
Yeah.
He's just a weird,
He's a wild spirit. Dude.
yeah, weird guy. So we're looking at heavyweight, and we're looking at Cyril Gane. It's crazy to me he is somehow now ranked above Derek Lewis.
I mean,
What?
That doesn't.
What?
I mean, they're
weird.
both on 3 fight. I mean,
Alistar Overeem is ranked ahead of Derek
It
Lewis.
seems like they're severely overvaluing these Junior Dos Santos wins. Like,
Well,
damn, bro.
well, Lewis lost to JDS, so that says worse about Lewis. I mean, it was a while ago.
Yeah,
So it's like, I don't know how they judge this shit, what history they go back to take into consideration. Because, like, there's always some weird shit with stuff like that.
Oh, Volkov and Overeem are fighting. Didn't we say that would be great for Volkov?
I feel like
I think that's just a great fight period. Two really good
But I
strikers in
was
the
going to
heavyweight
suggest
division.
Gane versus Overeem just because, like, that's a great
Gane
fight.
versus Rosenstruck would be a great fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they both need a fight. Why? Oh, that's right. That fight got put off. The Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades.
That should be rebooked, though.
That hopefully that gets rebooked.
That 100%.
And then
Yeah, I like Gane versus Rosenstrike a lot.
Yeah, that's cool.
I feel like Gane wins that, actually. I haven't been impressed with Rosenstruck.
I think Gane skill wise should win that, but Rosenstrike has that one punch put you out of their power. So
But I feel like Gane doesn't even engage in the pocket much. He snipes from
Yeah.
a distance. He uses his footwork.
I think he's going to be a problem for anybody. to be
And like he
honest.
can actually look for takedowns on Rosenstruck. He probably is a better grappler for sure.
Yeah.
He has more
Yeah.
submissions.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So that's probably a good
That's
path to
probably
victory.
the fight for both of them. It probably happens.
Gane probably has more submissions than everybody in the top 10.
It's yeah, just because he has the
'Cause it's
submission.
heavyweight.
More than
Yeah.
Black Belt Junior Dos Santos?
Fucking black belt.
Well, that's what somebody in that fight said. Said
McDojo
something
black
about maybe Junior Dos Santos and look for takedowns. I'm like, don't do that.
Dude, you know what's crazy is the fact that he's on a 3-fight losing streak and they're all TKOs.
He's on a 4-fight. He's on a 4-fight losing.
Okay, well, I'm just looking right here,
Who was
right
it
there.
last night that was like, I have a black belt if I can't sub some of these guys?
Kevin Holland.
Yeah, right. Yeah, everything Holland said in that interview, I was like, I love it. Dude.
Yeah, well, because he was giving credit to his coach when he said it too. He said, "I got a black belt under this guy." So
Travis Luter.
Travis Luter. So
Mm-hmm.
if I can't handle myself on the ground, then I don't deserve this black belt.
Right.
I don't know if you guys know, but Mike Goldberg called Travis Luter the Michael Jordan of BJJ when he was fighting Anderson Silva. That's what he said in the fight.
I don't
That's
care.
right, Goldberg.
But he has a black belt under the Michael Jordan BJJ. That shit. That is a high.
Your Nogueira black belt.
Yeah, like,
Oh my
but like
God.
JDS is literally the worst black belt I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because we're not even sure because he's never.
He
used
doesn't
it.
even own a gi. Like, show me the gi on camera.
Honestly, if I was an MMA fighter,
I
I probably
wouldn't
wouldn't own a
Train
gi
gi.
either.
Yeah.
No, but like if to
Never.
be a black belt, you need to be a gi. Like you need to have a gi. You roll in a gi, you don't get a black belt for just unless you do like a
Straight jiu-jitsu.
yeah. If you do a no gi, there's like systems, but it's not really a black
Right.
belt equivalent. you
Yeah, I
know?
don't think. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think you belt the same way in gi or no as you would in gi.
See that Izzy got his purple
Belt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've seen people on like comment sections of like the news article being like, it's fake. He's not a great grappler. I'm like, dude, someone give him a purple belt and he's an MMA fighter and undefeated. He's probably a pretty good
He's
fucking
probably
grappler,
been
dude.
earning
Right, just
that
because we
fucker,
haven't
yeah.
Well,
really
and
seen it doesn't mean
regardless,
anything.
we don't know. You can't say that. You're not in there in
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
gym watching him roll with
Right.
black belts.
Andre
Imagine
Gallo gave his fucking gave him a purple belt.
Imagine if
Right.
he's not a black belt already and he's just now getting his purple belt. He's earning his way to it. Like,
Right, like who do you say like fucking roll with him then? Like who are you? Some random
Right.
dude, you know?
Yeah.
I don't understand like, but like I feel like Izzy wants to become better at BJJ. He seems like he wants to be a better martial
Mhm.
artist in general.
Yeah,
So.
and it's not Izzy's fault that nobody can take him there.
yeah.
Right, and like he looked good on his back enough when I seen him in there for a second.
Yeah.
But
All right, so we're moving on to Kevin Holland, who we think Kevin Holland should fight. I'm definitely looking into the top 10, and I'd say I'd be happy anywhere between 10 and 7 here. Jack Hermanson,
Brunson.
Kevin Gastelum,
Brunson. I think Brunson
Weidman.
would be a good one.
and like Brunson is like probably the easiest fight for him in this top
Dude,
10.
honestly, if I'm booking it, I'm like, you're fighting Robert Whitaker, #1 contender right now.
But I think Paul
Just
Costa
because
is
I
kind of
don't.
floating around.
I mean, yeah, Costa Whitaker's okay, but like other than that, I don't see anything interesting for Whitaker even. And
Depends if he gets past Chimaev next week. You know?
yeah, wait, did they book that?
Yeah. 6 days.
That is-
I don't like that any like for either of them because, like I said, they both have built their own hype in their own divisions, and it's like it's to me just a detour for either of them to do it when like
Well,
you guys are both probably a fight away from a title shot.
I'd
or-
watch the shit out of it though.
yeah, well, and,
Oh,
not,
yeah, it'd be
and not
great.
just that, you're saying built a hype in your own division. Like, part of Chimaev's hype is actually
yeah,
in
a little
middleweight.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
More at middleweight.
Yeah, I
He's
think he has
two
more
fights.
wins there. Yeah.
He has like a top 100 win at welterweight. Like the guy he fought literally is probably top 100 maybe.
Right. But yeah, I like it. I like anywhere inside of there. I think Vettori versus Till is a good fight. I think Whitaker and Costa are
Maybe
actually pretty
Cannonier
close
even.
to sign.
Cannonier.
Cannonier coming back, yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't. Dude, is Kelvin gonna fight? Oh, he's fighting Ian Heinisch.
Oh
I
yeah,
forgot.
he sure is. And Weidman's
Gritty.
fighting Uriah Hall. So I would say Derek Brunson or Cannonier.
Till.
Till and Herman. Till and
Vettori, I
makes
think that
too much sense.
Till and Vettori makes
Yeah.
too much sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to happen. They both seem to want it.
But I wonder how like Holland will match up against like some like dude. Whitaker's a hard fight for everybody in that
Oh, yeah.
division.
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't trust.
Well, something I like in Holland's repertoire against Whitaker is height and length.
Yeah, he
And his-
fights long.
And yeah, in
Which
his
is
in his
easier, too.
ability to fight in that space that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So,
But Whitaker is so fundamentally sound. He has a great defense
Yeah.
generally.
well, and I think Holland has more power than maybe we realized as well.
But and we can't forget
Yeah.
that like he fought against Darren Stewart and like he won and looked pretty good. But there's a lot of shit where like he looked like his defense was bad in that fight.
And,
Holland.
Well,
Remember
and what did Holland say?
what? I can't remember. I don't-
Holland didn't like that fight,
Right,
And
so-
said we should run that back.
Right.
Yeah, a fight
Yeah.
that he won, right?
Yeah, he won. It was
He won
close
the fight,
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
But,
was
like,
not happy with it.
So like I mean, I feel like the ceiling's high for him, so that he can make strides and shore up some of his deficiencies in his fight game. But like you just think like, well, hopefully no one can take advantage of that in the future.
I'll tell you what's crazy about Holland that I did not realize is his first fight in the actual UFC was a
Thiago
last-minute
Santos.
fight against Thiago Santos.
Yeah.
It's-
Like, that's a ballsy move, man.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
like made a decision.
Right. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Damn.
And that's why Dana White hated him before that and then loved him.
Yeah, Well-
Dana White just calls him Big Mouth.
well, he does have a big mouth.
He does him Big Mouth.
Yeah.
You need fighters like that because then you have like fucking people that like Costa who barely could talk English and like
Yeah.
you know.
Also has a big mouth.
Well-
It's weird the shit talking from from Holland though, because it's almost he's almost respectful at the same time. Like he talks crazy,
but it's not too crazy. It's not
Right.
like delusional.
right? And then again, like after the fight, like he's mildly humble while still very confident. You know what I mean? Like for him to say after that Stewart fight, like, hey, we should run that back.
Yeah, that's pretty humble.
You know what I mean? And it shows great self-awareness. I think he knew that wasn't really a good win.
Yeah, it just was like a lesser performance from him.
I think self-awareness is very key for fighters, and
Yeah.
Holland seems to have it in spades along with his confidence.
I actually feel like maybe it's just more prevalent because of social media and the way that the fighters engage with the media more, so you can hear more. But like, you just compare somebody like, I don't know, fucking the Chuck Liddell era fighters. Those dudes had no self-awareness, it seemed. Or we didn't hear about them talk about anything, so like we didn't know.
Right.
But now it's just like you see somebody like Jordan Levitt, and you could tell that dude is humble as fuck, will admit anything. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
Chase Hooper. He's young. He knows his striking's garbage. He'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Holland will talk about whatever he's going through. So it's nice to see the human side of these fighters in the like
Yeah. Then you have Ronda Rousey, who's like, my stand-up game can
blast Floyd Mayweather or whatever.
Yeah. Like I can stand with
Well,
anybody.
I mean, when you got Rogan,
and everybody and the
when you
rest.
got Rogan crying at you like you're the greatest ever. It's probably hard not to give your head pumped.
Remember
up.
Rogan said that like she could sub Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
Like-
Why is he saying
What
that?
the fuck?
Cain Velasquez, 240-pound heavyweight champion.
Like he wouldn't just pick her up and throw her out of the cage.
Right.
I saw Ronda grappling with Musasi, and he was like literally just like big brothering her, just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
going like literally probably 15%, just like doing whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like it's just, yeah, you could maybe sub a grown man that is 235 that's
Yeah.
not a fighter,
Trained fighter.
Yeah.
but like even fucking like Porter or whatever that guy's name is.
Oh my
Portly
god.
Portly Potter.
Like whatever that guy is. That dude was literally beat the shit out of Ronda, and like that guy,
Oh, that was so
That's a
fucking
domestic
funny.
violence case.
yeah.
Portly Potter.
Portly Potter.
Oh,
Well,
that
I
was,
can't help his name is literally a fucking
Porter
cartoon
Potty.
character or whatever.
oh, that's fucking hilarious.
All right, let's move along to see who we think Mackenzie Dern should fight. I was looking at it while you guys were talking, and I kind of like the Angela Hill matchup.
Yeah.
I love Angela Hill. Wait, she was supposed to fight recently and got.
Yeah,
She
she
got
was
COVID.
She was
Tisha.
supposed to fight Tisha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would have been not an easy fight. huh?
Who's Kanaka Murata?
Whoa, yeah, where'd she come from?
Oh, I have no idea.
When did these fights
She
take place?
fought Miranda Marcos.
Some prelim that we talk shit
Wait.
on.
If she fought Miranda Marcos in the UFC, then that would be her first fight in the UFC. She's okay. Yeah, she's 1-0.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know, but I like.
I'll
I've never
forget about
heard
her
of her.
immediately as soon as this conversation.
Yeah, I don't even know why you brought her up.
Because I don't know who she is, and she's wedged against between people I know.
Yeah, but
So-
let's be honest. You just found out who Jandaroba was.
Who? Jan DeRoba? I'm a huge.
I'm a huge Jandaroba
I
fan.
remember her last fight.
You're not a huge fan of any of the fucking
I'm in her
women.
DMs actually.
Oh
Jan
my
DeRoba.
god.
All right,
Speaks
so
Portuguese and
With
I
that lazy eye.
and you just say random
We have
stuff.
to have a translator.
So Mackenzie
Oh
Dern,
my
I
God.
really like that Angela Hill fight. I think that's
Yeah.
a good one to
I think
make.
Angela Hill lights her up though.
I think
Well, Mackenzie Dern's striking is, I mean, it looked better than it did before, but
Sloppier.
it's just not good.
no, it's still not on the level of Angela Hill.
She
I
like
don't
No.
reaches too much. She's like
Yes.
pawing and reaching and throwing
She
like
really like leans into everything
She has-
because she's reaching so much.
She has bad entries.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way to word it.
Yeah.
And like she's always like leaned over, like literally leaned over the whole time.
Like if you just moved out of the way, she might fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of like how Ronda was like when she just like loaded up and remember how like Holly just made her fall and just like
Oh,
oh it's
took you
embarrassing.
My
It's like when people first start like hitting a bag, they just want to they want to lean into everything and use everything in their arms. It's like, no, use your hips.
yeah.
Why aren't you using your hips?
My favorite thing from Ronda Rousey was when she was fighting Amanda Nunes, and she was trying to like bounce around like a real striker,
Oh,
and
God.
her legs were locked.
Yeah.
What was that
Like-
finish?
like,
Like 13
hey,
seconds?
Rhonda.
It was like a minute, I think.
Like, hey,
Okay,
Rhonda,
yeah.
bend
Okay,
your
maybe
knees.
33.
Yeah.
Why are your knees locked and you're bouncing around? You're not a pogo stick.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone take a loss that's worse than her. Like immediate blackout, no interviews for this fight because I
Who,
lost my last
Rousey?
fight. Yeah, like,
oh, fuck her.
like it's like, dude, it's like tons of fighters go to post fight. Like Luke
After they
Rockhold.
lose.
Luke Rockhold had to sit there and listen to Bisping after he got knocked out.
Yes.
It's like, you know, like
Exactly.
I mean-
She's Ronda Rousey.
And we don't even like him.
yeah,
Is
and,
the
but he fucking
biggest-
took it.
Right.
Ronda Rousey is the biggest fucking sore loser.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She after I mean like the Holly Holm fight and then the new. First of all, the UFC knew what they were doing when they put her up against Nunes after
Yeah.
that.
They knew
They
she was
knew
on.
it was gonna be a money fight.
Yeah, it's a
and
one-off.
Anybody who thought that was going to be any different or any better than the Holly Holm fight was out of their fucking mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it just, especially since her confidence was shot.
I remember
Yeah.
posting like, "You're about to watch Ronda Rousey get her fucking blow dropped right now, dude."
Yeah.
I said it for the Holly Holm fight. I just knew that once somebody made her stand up, I mean, you could just tell the few times that she was in the striking game. It's like, this is bad.
And knocking out Beth Correa or whatever, it does not mean nothing. It means nothing.
Beth
crazy.
Correa had a retirement fight that nobody paid attention to.
It's crazy to
It didn't even happen yet. You don't know that.
See?
it's crazy to think though for me that like
Next week, I think.
the fucking Nunes versus Rousey fight was the first fight I ever watched. Like I
Holy
ever
shit.
like not I ever watched because I had watched Silva fight. I had watched
But with
like other
intent,
fights, but
like I'm a fight fan. and
so
I'm
like
watching
I
this shit.
slept through the whole card, woke up for Garbrandt versus Cruz, watched that whole card, and was like, "This is fucking awesome!" Like
Yeah.
the way Cody was just dancing
Oh, yeah.
around Cruz, I was amazed. And then you go into Nunes versus Rousey, and it was like, wow, it didn't take very
It's
long for her to
funny-
fuck her up.
It's funny that Cody's what got you into MMA, that performance, because like the Silva Forrest thing was what really locked it into me, like that Matrix like performance.
Yeah.
It
I
like
was
Cody,
so
it was the same
young.
kind of performance that night with Cody. Like, dude, it's like he knows what he's gonna do, and like
It just sucks that he couldn't continue to do that
Well,
throughout.
not everybody has pillow fists like Dominic Cruz.
No,
so-
you're right though.
Well,
No, you're
as
right.
I've said before, it's hard to throw hard punches when your feet aren't on the ground.
the
Yeah, and
canvas.
they're floating around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
made
can
it
get
work
into
for a
that
long
later,
time,
but
He did.
his next matchup's gonna be rough. I think.
Cruz versus Casey
Casey
Kenny.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Casey Kenny.
All right. Well,
All right. So we all seem to be in agreement with Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill. So let's get to
Fucking lightweight.
God damn.
The guy in the division we
We
talk
need
about
paid
the
for
most.
this. Matchmaking in lightweight is like a chore.
it is.
Right.
It's
Not this one,
so
though.
it's
This is
so
easy.
top heavy.
Oliveira versus the Peoria Connor winner.
Yeah.
And Ferguson versus Desanya. So like,
Yeah. I
Or Hooker versus
Well, we have
Ferguson.
to.
yeah, or Hooker versus Ferguson. I think Hooker needs a
I
fight.
know you guys are tired of hearing me saying this, but you have to insert Michael Chandler
I'm not
somewhere because they're
inserting that
fucking
motherfucker
paying
anyway.
him.
Well-
He's got to
well,
go
I
somewhere.
think he's
and
gonna
just
fight
talk.
Gaethje.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
that
It has to be in the top five.
I think
It's
it's
gonna
going to
be
be Gaethje. I don't think it has to be in the top 5. I think you want it to be in the top 5. I think Chandler
I
wants
think
it to be
the
in the
I
top
UFC
think
five.
that they're
feels like
paying
it-
him so
yeah.
much that he's
Yeah.
got to take
Yeah.
a fight in the top five.
yeah.
But I think he's going to end up fighting Gaethje. I actually, now that we're looking at Dan Hooker just sitting there doing nothing, I actually like him versus Tony Ferguson.
I think he fucks Ferguson up,
I
actually.
think so
I think
too,
he does.
especially in the
Seriously, like,
stand-up.
After the
'cause-
past 2 fights we've seen, yeah.
And
Yeah.
him versus Poirier was a war.
And like him has had Poirier out with like a knee
Yes.
Yeah.
at one point. So Hooker's actually pretty good. I think he can fuck up Chandler too. I know
I
you
mean,
don't
he's
like
got a good
Chandler.
camp
I
behind
do
him
like
too.
Yeah, well, City Kickboxing's pretty
Amazing. And didn't you say that was your favorite camp?
I think
Yeah, well, they have-
Desanya's versus Ferguson is more interesting to me. I just
'Cause it's
how
too
they
le-
match up.
Oh,
like,
dude, they already fought. I forgot they already fought and Tony beat him
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
It's a rematch,
Right.
but I forgot that.
They have already fought.
But now
and-
because of what Ferguson, you know,
but I don't want to
Looks like
see.
they're at.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to see who to me has more potential in the division right now. Dan Hooker just sitting in limbo for too long.
True.
Yeah, but like Tony
Yeah.
needs. I don't know if he
'Cause
needs
it's-
some time off, but 'cause he didn't take that much damage. The arm maybe, but Hooker needs a fight pretty soon. Dude, Hooker and Desanya would be a good fight too. Actually, thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I think.
You know what? Any one of those guys fight each other. There.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Honestly-
like they're trying to push Desanya a little bit too. Though,
Yeah.
like,
And
I
then
just wish they would do a tournament.
And
Like,
then
I
if-
wish they would
Yeah,
set
that'd
it
be
up
cool.
that way.
And then
Yeah.
if Habib isn't coming back, then I want to see Charles fight the winner of
For the
Poirier
title.
versus Connor for the title.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the winner of Chandler and Gaethje can get the next title
The
shot.
title
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's
Especially if Chandler wins because
I think that's actually pretty well lined up. And actually, this is getting a little exciting now because fights
Yeah.
are happening.
Yeah, it's fucking about time though, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about this division more than anything we've ever
That
talked about.
Connor
This
Yeah.
podcast.
Poirier fight jogs loose.
It's
a
like
lot,
this division
Yeah,
and
a lot.
bantamweight are so stacked right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can't really say that lightweight is stacked in the sense of like deep down it's stacked, but it's top. It's very top
it's very
heavy
stacked.
in the top
There's Fiziev
10.
at 20.
Yeah.
But you go to
It's fucking
bantamweight
crazy.
and you go down through and it's like 35. We still know who these dudes are.
Yeah.
I mean, good on.
Hold
well,
on, I'm gonna go down here.
dude, that's stacked.
Yeah, but
Fiziev.
Yeah,
I feel like but
Gregor
I feel like she's
Gillespie.
kind of right because in between Fiziev till you get to like 10,
Bobby
it's like
Green.
I'm not very excited about any of that.
Yeah.
though, you know?
Well, because it's older dudes who don't fight
Yeah.
as often.
So then bantamweight.
But then also bantamweight, you have people that like, I don't care about. Like you have like fucking Jimmy Rivera. Like I don't give a fuck about that dude.
Okay,
Pedro
but like
Munoz.
let's go past Jimmy Rivera. You have
Dishwali.
Divishali, and then you have
Barcelos is fighting.
and then I mean Casey Kenny, fucking
Yeah.
who did he
I
fight in
think
his
it's
last
definitely
fight?
deeper than lightweight.
Nathaniel Wood.
Yeah, Nathaniel Wood,
Barcelos,
I
O'Malley,
mean, O'Malley,
said
Ricky Simone. I mean, like, yeah, don't get me wrong.
Kelleher.
Yeah.
They're close. You know, it's
They're-
not,
They're
pretty
the
close.
two most exciting divisions right now, I think.
you just have people that like stinking up lightweight, like fucking
And then,
Iaquinta who doesn't fight.
Right.
You know, it's like
if I'm not mistaken, John Castaneda is fighting Eddie Weiland.
who?
Okay, so I know John from Instagram. John actually
See,
is
like
Who the fuck is that guy?
exactly.
John is married to a girl that I follow on Instagram, and like his first fight was on Fight Island I don't know what. When did Fight Island start? 4 months ago? 5 months ago? July. So he fought on Fight Island. Now he's getting to fight Eddie Weiland. So like he's moving his way up too, and you guys don't even know who the fuck he is.
I'm not
Why
gonna-
does Fig look so different in that photo?
blonde hair?
Yeah,
That's weird.
that is exactly why. And it looks like he was a lot younger there.
Yeah.
He looks
Um,
aged. He looks old.
Yeah.
This one I think is pretty easy for us. I think we're all in agreement that Fig versus
Rematch.
Moreno makes the most
It's a
sense.
rematch, yeah.
But if for some reason they don't do that, or somebody has to have a long layoff, then I would like to
Cody.
see Fig fight Cody.
Dude, Benavidez is fighting Askarov.
I know.
I think that's a bad fight.
For
Benavidez?
Benavidez.
Yeah.
He needs to fight like Dotson or somebody in some
Yeah.
other promotion.
I don't even think Dodson's a good fight for him.
No.
He needs,
You said in some other promotion.
he needs to fight the Night Terrors and is still knocked out.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Oh my god! All right,
He doesn't know the
How
fight
you
side
gonna leave,
yet.
how you
Count
gonna
on
leave him at
Brandon
number
to
two,
say
though?
fucking
Like,
there's no
something.
way he should still be number
Morena's
two.
fucking.
Well, they haven't updated that. It still says fights Fig on. It's weird. They updated some of that card, but not all of it.
yeah.
But it's cool that Megan O'Leary is his power of attorney because he's still knocked out. So she signed the fight for him against Askarov while he's in a coma.
Yeah. He's like, I'm fighting who?
He comes out of it. All right, got your fight signed.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
He's like, why would you do that?
I actually like fucking Joe Benavidez. I don't know why I'm talking shit on this guy. I like him.
He's an awesome
I
guy.
know. Yeah,
He's an awesome
I
guy.
can't help myself.
He's
I have
a guy.
a problem.
I'm a
But it-
shithead.
But
I don't know.
it hasn't looked good for him his past couple.
Well, like he just is. How did he knock out Alex Perez?
How did he knock him out? When I watch his striking
It's just like
for
he-
his last couple fights, I'm like, it's almost like you're slapping.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like you're really throwing punches, man. I don't understand what's happening. He's like,
Yeah, and like it's slow.
yeah,
Like
it's weird.
What's he good at?
Man, I can't believe
Yeah.
there's still that much in between now and McGregor. Like,
Yeah.
it's every goddamn.
I like how the one is just UFC Fight Night, January 20th.
Yeah.
No one.
We'll have to take a look.
That's
at
gonna be.
that.
This is gonna be fucking.
we don't know what comes after.
Chamaya
184.
versus Edwards. That fight card. Remember that I said that?
Yeah.
That's
The
it.
January 20th.
Yeah, dude. Look at that fucking week. Holloway versus Cater. Dude.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't
Is that
wait.
International Fight Week? Is that why?
No,
it's,
International Fight Week's in July.
Oh, okay.
Let's go ahead and just start here though, because this
Why is it
card,
stacked up
this
Oh.
card is also fucking stacked.
Yes,
man.
it
This
is.
fight card is awesome.
I can't wait for the font fight.
So it starts off with Stephen Thompson versus Jeff Neal, then Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera, Kaylin Williams, Chaos Williams versus Michelle Pereira.
I forgot about that fight.
Marlon Moraes versus Rob Font. Greg
England
Hardy
cartel,
is
baby.
also on this.
You always say-
Greg
always
Hardy
say
is
that.
also on this card. Anthony Pettis is also on this card, and I
He's
mean,
fighting some random dude.
yeah, this is a hell of a card, man.
Pettis is,
Darion wins fighting. That's DC's
When's
dude.
this?
yeah, he's at like
This
5'8" middleweight.
I can't wait to watch a fight
Seriously,
on a
have you seen
Wednesday
him?
again.
Yeah.
He's like my height. Darion Wynn, he's that real short middleweight that like
This
looks
is
like
a pretty good card.
Yeah, it
smushed
is.
DC.
He does.
Anthony Pettis literally needs to win this fight.
Yes.
Yeah,
If he loses to this other no-name guy,
then he's going to the PFL.
I'm
Bellator's
gonna
You,
yeah.
you just get past
I'm gonna-
Bellator now. You're just like straight to PFL. Like Bellator's better. PFL. Here
bare
we go.
knuckle boxing.
Fair enough. Street beefs for you.
He can
I
fight-
just think Anthony Pettis has a good chance of winning $1 million in PFL.
I think Rory has a good chance too.
Roy is like real Christian-y and doesn't even like fighting.
I know.
Yeah.
What are they
That's-
giving away in street beefs though?
Street beefs, all
Pettis and street beefs.
It's a year's supply of hamburgers.
street beefs isn't even. I don't even think that's even a thing anymore, is
Yeah, a
it?
year's supply of
For
bacon.
sure is.
Is it serious?
Yeah, street beefs is good.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Street
There's
beefs
a dude on
is
my
We used to
Facebook.
cover street beef.
We'll start a separate Street
did on
Beef
my
podcast
Facebook.
that
One
we record
view.
on Wednesdays.
But yeah, one view of a post.
Oh my god.
But I just feel like Pettis is just like, there's no way he's not just showing up for checks. There's no fucking way. He has no career aspirations as far as titles go.
Yeah, there's
He's just,
no way. Yeah.
Like, dude, every fight camp, because like I pay attention to news, it's like, oh, Pettis is like, I'm back. I'm feeling the best. I'm training in the gym. I'm feeling good in the gym. This is the best I've ever looked.
Yeah.
And it's like he goes out there and it's like, he gave up.
yeah.
Not in like a bad way, like JDS,
I
but
was
like
just gonna
a
say, not
mental
like
lapse.
JDS, yeah.
Like literally like a mental lapse of like, I don't want to be in this fight anymore. Not like I'm afraid to get beat up. It's like just like, oh fuck it, I don't want to.
And that dude, I remember the Tony Ferguson fight. I'm like, I swear Pettis was winning that fight.
Yeah, he dropped. Well, made Tony roll around.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a drop, but he was lighting him up on the feet.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't know. Pettis has like glimpses of like high level, and glimpses of, like his subs are good, dude.
I mean,
He's
he locked out Thompson not too long ago.
right, and dude, he subbed Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's a feather in the cap, knowing what we know now. You know,
Yeah.
because like that Charles Oliveira still had the BJJ,
Right.
and like maybe his mental game wasn't as strong, but like he has these weird flashes of like, oh, he looks like he's
Yeah.
fucking on the up and up. Then it's just like loses to Diego
It's
Ferreira.
like he's dangerous because it's like on any given night you could lose to Anthony Pettis, but
Yeah.
like
Retrospect is crazy.
Yeah, and like the fight game more than anything, because I feel like it's all a stream of like it's sort of how like wrestling is. There's no off season, so it's just like a stream of fights and a stream of matchups, and then there's past history and like
That's
people
why.
interact differently and they lose to each other and win against other people, and it's like
That's why Steeler football, but Steeler fans made me mad. 'Cause like, oh, we have 3 games in 12 days or whatever, and it's like, play hockey, play basketball,
yeah.
fight MMA,
yeah.
do any other sport that's gonna make you fight or make you perform more than once a week. Like,
Yeah, and I don't know. I think MMA though too. It's like you can never do MMA math ever. And it never
no,
makes sense.
ever,
Because then it's like you just have fluky shit. You know, not fluky, but you have things that don't make sense with MMA
because
math.
it's a fight and
Yeah.
anybody can get cracked at any given time, or
It-
subbed at any given time.
Is
Right.
it weird that the fight I'm most excited for on this card is Chaos versus Pereira?
Dude,
That's the one
it's
I'm
the most exciting.
for.
Well, that's because you love Rob
Dude,
Font.
I love the no.
Yeah, you do
No.
love Rob Font.
No.
Well,
I like
Marlon Vera
bantamweight.
versus-
You
Vera
love
versus
bantamweights.
Aldo is
I
pretty
love
cool,
the
too.
bantamweight division. It's just my favorite division. It
You're the
always
biggest
has been.
bantamweight fan I've ever met.
I
I am,
Seriously.
and I'm probably the biggest New England Cartel fan too.
I don't even know what that is. I don't know what word you're saying, to be honest. New England Cartel, is that what's the phrase? New England?
New England.
Okay, all right. Because you say it like so, like in the way you say it, it's like
England.
Yeah, England.
Well, don't mind the way I'm
England.
talking
I'm not
right now.
calling because like I probably have some speech impediments, but I'm just saying.
Saying
though,
I have a speech.
no, I'm
impediment?
just saying personally. I'm not.
fucking with
but like
you.
you say it so fast that phrase itself, that like I'm like, oh, I think it's New England, but I've never heard of that besides you. Like I've never even heard about it on Sherdog, so I don't
Yeah.
know. Is it? It sounds like a fucking gang. Is it a street gang with fighters in it? Or
I mean, it's just their camp.
I think though it's a badass name, the New England
It is.
Cartel.
I love
yeah,
it.
it's something they're about to thump you in the streets or something.
I mean, they are.
But I
Yeah.
think I'm most excited for that fight because I think both those guys are potential. They're prospects in their division.
Yeah.
Well,
And then I think the fight of the person's career, like the biggest fight of their career, is up for Marlon Vera there against Jose Aldo.
that's a bad fight for him, to be honest. I like Marlon Vera, but Jose Aldo, unless he's like completely washed, is a hard fight for anybody in that division.
But if Cheeto pulls that off and wins that fight,
Big for
I
him.
mean,
That's
it's
big.
huge for him.
Yeah,
100%.
And you want to go through who we're rooting for or picking at least?
Yeah, we should definitely do
Just
that.
some fucking-
So let's start at Pettis and Moreno. Nicolette?
Yeah, it's like I don't even know who Alex Moreno is.
Same.
Yeah,
Oh, that is-
same. But I
And
mean,
I love MMA.
I want to say Anthony Pettis just because he's Anthony fucking Pettis, but
But what does that mean anymore?
exactly. that's like what I was getting at. I
He
don't
asks
know.
that every day, that same question.
I hate picking because every time I pick, it always goes the opposite way. Fuck it.
You're taking too long on this. Just
Ah,
pick
fuck
Pettis.
it. I'm just gonna pick Moreno. I'm just gonna pick Moreno.
Oh my god! All right.
Fuck it. That's gonna be my like lock of the week.
Okay. I'm picking
Shitty
Pettis
luck.
only because I don't know who Alex Moreno is. I don't know if he's any good. I know Pettis can be good sometimes, and a known can be good sometimes is better than an unknown anything.
Is this at welterweight or?
It doesn't matter to Pettis. He doesn't know
Yeah,
either. He
yeah,
just.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I'm just saying he doesn't like he fights whatever because it's like
Right.
actually we should find that out. But
I'm gonna pick Moreno just because.
Right. I'm just like fuck it. Like that's gonna be my
Yeah.
my lock of the my shitty lock of the week.
Yeah, I think I might. It's tough because he's 18-6, so it's not like I can't imagine he's like a massive prospect. But I'm assuming he's younger than Anthony Pettis, so I might go Moreno too, just for the sake of let's get some fresh blood going.
it's like if you're like Parker Porter versus JDS. I'm like Parker Porter.
Yeah.
Like it's like something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't fucking like I don't. This guy's
Yeah.
not even that great. Maybe, but
What did you call him?
fucking. Kyle called him Portly Parker.
Potter, Portly Potter.
Portly
Portly Potty.
Potty, not even his name anymore.
God.
All right, I don't really.
Dude, it's his fault for looking like that and having that
Yeah,
name
for
while
being
looking like
portly.
that.
Yeah.
Don't look like that if you have that name. Look different.
Let's go Talia Santos versus Jillian Robertson.
Look at the record discrepancy. Just look like
I know.
know.
it's
That's
just
enough
like
for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking Talia. That's enough for me, for sure. Everybody Talia, or anybody
yeah,
going to
yeah.
go with the redhead dreadlock?
I already picked my shitty lock of the week, so I'll go with Talia.
I like how that dude's a shitty lock. He could be great. He
I
could be a
know.
killer.
I don't know, but I just don't know enough about him.
All right, so Tiberia versus Greg Hardy.
I feel like
Go ahead.
I feel like Tiberia is gonna win. Just
Yeah.
I think so.
I think
too.
he's gonna slow this shit down and be boring as hell and make it a boring fight. And Greg Hardy isn't as experienced enough to combat that level of experience to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like
100%.
they're finally putting Hardy against somebody.
Who's
Right.
fought
Just
him.
gonna give him a problem. Yeah.
and I don't know that he deals with it.
But like Marcin Tybura, I don't know what he's good at either though.
Right. My big thing is I do think Greg Hardy, regardless of his skill level, hits some of the hardest at heavyweight.
But sometimes you can't really put it in like
The right
spots.
position.
Yeah, like he hits hard, but it seems like he's
Gets there
finding
late.
hard time to like getting the angles and sort of like catching them in the sweet spot. He's sort of just like brute forcing his way and like wins when he does win by knockout.
Yeah. All right. So actual pick, Nicolette.
Tibura.
Brandon.
Tybura, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same. And I'm hoping for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, like I'm not. If he blasts him out of the first round or whatever, I'm not gonna be surprised at all because like yeah. But it's just I don't know if I see it.
All right. So then we got Marlon Moraes versus Rob.
Don't
Font.
even ask her.
Yeah. So we're
Y'all don't even have to ask me. New England Cartel, baby.
Like, you don't have to say that every time Rob Font's name's mentioned.
Either him or Calvin Cater. Those are my fucking dudes.
God damn it, they fight soon too, and it's
all right.
Listen.
So Rob Font
I pick Font.
and Brandon.
I'm gonna. I haven't seen fight in a while. Like it's been. He's not fought in like over a year, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So like his boxing is really good. Moraes' boxing is really good. I'm gonna pick Moraes.
Yeah, I picked Moraes because he was just in title contention, and I mean I think he's dropped 2 fights, but I don't think
He's
it's
dropped
over.
2 fights to top level competition.
Sandhagen
Right?
knocked him out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's over for the guy though.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I
As
think
a,
it's
like
time
a,
he gets a
I don't think he's gonna make another
I
title
hate
run.
Marlon,
Yeah.
though.
But
Like,
I think
just
he's going to
can't stand
be.
him.
I think he's maybe going to be a great gatekeeper between 5 and 7.
Yeah.
yeah, and like he's so explicit that like that aspect of him is like always worrying.
Yeah.
Like that first round, Marlon Moraes is like a fucking killer sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his kicks and like punches are so fast.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pick Moraes as well. Rob Font, if he does win this fight, though, I think it speaks volumes to where
Yeah.
he's headed.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like he's a high level gatekeeper if
Yeah.
he's a gatekeeper now.
I think
Right.
it means more for Font to win this fight than it does.
I'm
Moraes,
hoping for
so-
Font,
Oh,
by
yeah,
the way.
for sure. What's
And
that?
I'm hoping for Font, by the way,
Yeah, honestly, I hope Font wins
because
as
he has
well.
more potential in my mind as a potential title challenger.
Agreed. And I already made one pick just for a potential, and picking Moreno over Pettis. I didn't want to do it again, so I'm picking Moraes. But I see more potential for Font, and I do hope Font wins.
I feel like a lot of these fights are like the passing of the guard, maybe. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of these
Yeah.
have that similar theme of like, especially the top 2 fights when we get to them. But yeah, I feel like Font though, it's like if he could fight a pace that like makes Moraes tired, he could win because his boxing's really good.
Yeah.
But dealing with the explosive leg kicks and dealing with the power coming back to him in the first round is gonna be tricky. You know.
Yeah. All right, so next we have Chaos Williams versus Michelle Pereira.
This is nuts to pick this
Is
fight.
it-
Ah,
I
this
know,
is
this is the biggest.
hard.
This was almost more of a toss-up than before. Obviously, we've seen what happened. Tony versus Oliveira.
Yeah, because like I don't even know if Keelan Williams is even that good, but he's fucking good at knocking people
Scary,
out.
though.
He's
Yeah.
fucking deadly with that fucking
And
right
Michelle
hand.
Pereira is good as doing fucking crazy shit.
He just won. His striking actually looks really good when
Yeah.
when he slows it down.
How's he have 11 losses?
It's so crazy.
He
To
has
think
an
that he has
Ubering
11
record.
losses.
He's apparently 21, I think. And he has 11 losses and looks 38.
Like this one's hard for me to pick. One, not
Oh
just
my god.
I
not
don't even
just
know who
skill
I want to
level,
win,
but who I
yeah.
actually want to
Yeah,
win.
right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's tough
a
for
hard
me.
one.
I feel like Keelan Williams, if he wins, has a higher ceiling.
Chaos.
Yeah, that's true. They're wrong. His mom's wrong.
I think I'm
Oh my
rooting
God.
for Pereira.
I think I am too.
Pereira.
Pereira.
I am rooting for Williams.
And
Oh, we're doing rootings and not
Well,
pickings?
I mean,
okay.
I feel
Honestly,
none of us can
picking
make a.
Pereira.
I'm rooting for and picking
Yeah.
Pereira.
Me too.
Fuck. I feel like in terms of experience, yeah, Pereira.
Yeah.
Like, there's no. I mean, I don't know. It's a fight. That's the worst part about trying to
The
pick
best part
fights.
of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the best. If you're betting
That's-
money, it's the worst part.
That's why
but-
they're paying us the big bucks here,
Yeah.
because we got to make the
all
tough
my
calls.
friends will text me and they'll be like, "Who should I pick tonight?" And I'm like, "Dude, don't fucking listen
Yeah.
to me
Just 'cause
because
I know
whoever I
that,
pick
like-
is
You wanna-
going to fucking lose."
Do you want a goddamn rant in like a way they match up? Because like literally, it's like if you
Right.
break it down this way,
I know.
they go in this way.
I'll give
We
you
were at the-
information, and then
Yeah.
you make your
We
decision.
were at the bar one night and someone was like, "Nicolette, they're talking shit on Cody Garbrandt," and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Don't even fucking get me started because
Yeah.
I won't shut the fuck up."
Because like any fight, you're like, well, in this fight, they look like this and they did this, and
Exactly.
this could play into this fight this way if this guy does this.
But
It's
then
like,
this guy can do this and negate that, and it just be a fucking.
it makes it sound all nuts. Like we're like Charlie Kelly at the whiteboard and like It's Always Sunny, whatever, like
Just-
pointing like
just schizophrenic.
yeah, just like
because there's so much that goes into like fights. I
Right.
mean, there's a million different things, and like you said earlier, MMA math just doesn't fucking make sense.
yeah. I mean, but I feel like I don't know enough about Chaos's game. Like I just know he
Yeah.
can put people out.
That's my thing. He can definitely. I mean, if he lands that power punch against Michelle, yeah, he's probably going out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I haven't,
I haven't
tested it all. Like,
but I don't know his true skill set.
Right.
You know,
It-
and I do have an idea of Michelle's skill set.
And to you guys' credit of picking Michelle, his defense looked really good in his last fight. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if he barely even got touched in that fight.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Chaos can touch him more than that guy that he fought or get close to it or how that's going to work out. But like having good defense is always more of a lock I just am betting on somebody being
and he has good defense while also having good offense in the striking,
right,
and some power. When he slowed it down in that last fight and did less of the crazy stuff, he still did some, which I think he needs to, in order to stay to keep people on their toes. But he looked really good.
It's funny though. It's like you watch if they have interest for this fight, and it's like, oh, he's back flipping to the ring. Put money on Chaos Williams right now. Go on Bet Online or whatever. Instantly, he's doing cartwheels the whole way to the ring. He's already gassed. He's losing this one. But like, if he walks out slowly, keep the money on where you got it.
You're going Chaos.
Just I'm doing the pick of like I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So this is gonna be like your like shitty lock of the week.
Yeah. Or just a random I don't know lock.
Random.
Like it's gonna be like.
You pick Chaos though.
Yeah, I do.
All right, so then Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera, and Nicolette, go ahead.
Oh man, this is a hard one for me because I feel like Marlon Vera. I'm just gonna shut up, Marlon Vera.
I'm picking Jose Aldo. I just feel like that's a big fucking leap. Like O'Malley's good. But like Jose Aldo was a goddamn champion.
I know.
And had Peter Yan in trouble at certain points in that fight.
I know.
But Marlon Vera is also on a 7-fight win streak?
He is.
He's a savage.
Yeah, he is. But like Jose Aldo, first of all, this fight's 3 rounds.
I know.
Yeah, it's not 5.
That's good for Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
I don't want Jose Aldo to win. I'd rather Marlon Vera win, just based on the division and new blood and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Jose Aldo is still fucking game for 3 rounds to shut him out,
Yeah, to fuck some people up in 3 rounds, yeah.
I'm picking Marlon Vera.
No.
I think he's done enough, impressed enough to where, it might be about time where he enters the top 5 of his respective division.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to agree with Brandon on this one. I'm rooting for Marlon Vera, but I still think Jose Aldo is... I don't think he's quite a shell of himself. I do think a 3-round fight plays into his favor because he can kind of let his kicks and his punches go, he's still got that power, man. And especially those leg kicks, if he sticks to them, they're brutal. They're some of the best we've ever seen in MMA.
Vera's got him too,
yeah, but he does hit less hard, and I feel like Marlon Vera is one of those fighters who would probably be served better in a 5-round fight. He sort of picked up steam and sort of like snowballs. He's a snowball fighter, and he gets in the rhythm. I don't think that Jose's even going to let him get into the rhythm like that, and that the fight's going to be over before Marlon Vera should be picking up steam in that way to finish Jose. Jose loses by sort of gassing, getting overwhelmed eventually, and drown later on, and that there's not enough time in this fight.
Yeah. All right, so then the main event, Stephen Thompson versus Jeff Neal. This fight should be fun. I truthfully don't know enough about Jeff Neal, so I will be picking Stephen Thompson. Nicolette? I thought she had a brain aneurysm for a minute.
Fuck off. No,
Tony Ferguson did.
Both of you. I don't know. My heart wants to say Stephen Thompson, but he got knocked out by Anthony Pettis.
Yeah. And he's called Hands of Steel Neal.
That's where.
You don't call him for that reason.
I just think that karate stance is something different to deal with.
Different, yeah.
And I think he's typically a little bit harder to hit. Right?
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
First take, right?
I guess.
Boom, bounce off the cage to get
a
Superman punch, basically.
I'm gonna go with Thompson.
I'm
gonna regret that, but let's hope again.
I'm actually who I think will win is Stephen Thompson. I want Jeff Neal to win.
Yeah.
And but the only way I would I'm hesitant though on Thompson fully in this fight because he's 37.
Yeah.
And whenever you're getting up there in that age, one fight your awareness and your speed can go. And a fight like that, a fight style like that, if you're slower or less aware, you can get knocked out pretty fast. And if you're heavyweight and you're a powerful guy, a wrestler, you can go in your 40s and fight. But when you start getting slower and you're not seeing the punches coming, sort of Anderson Silva was eventually, he just wasn't seeing it and not finding the openings and not capitalizing. And if Stephen Thompson is anywhere close there, it's going to be a bad night for him. I don't think he's fallen off a cliff, but you don't know because he hasn't fought in a while.
I'm picking Neal because I think Thompson's game is a young man's game.
Yeah.
And he's getting up there.
You see it happen to Machida. You know what I mean? It's similar.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
But Jeff Neal though too, he works at Applebee's.
Does he really?
He's still a
Thought he-
waiter at Applebee's.
Oh my goodness.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. Imagine you just go there to get like a fucking
Fuck
2 for $20 or whatever,
that.
and Jeff Neal's your waiter. Like,
I mean,
What?
like that would be cool, but like fuck working at Applebee's.
Do you know where at?
no, but he probably makes good ass money, dude. He's like a ripped, fucking handsome black guy.
Well, and if
He's
it's
probably seriously though, he's probably making bank.
well, and if it's in a like a decent city, like even the servers at the one in Steubenville are making good money.
Dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
they do make good
Robinson
money.
people they pull. You know, I mean, if you work as a server up in Robinson,
Yeah.
I literally saw a meme on Facebook that was like, if you've never walked in a walk-in cooler and cried, you
Oh,
don't know. You don't know the struggle. I would go into the freezer at Undo's and literally fucking scream, like I just
They
yell
can't
at the
hear
top of my lungs because no one could hear me in there, and it just felt it was therapeutic.
In the
It seems to happen to most people. But when I was serving and bartending, like it just never got to me like that. Like,
I mean, either.
Oh,
No,
Eaton
I was
Park
always
was
like,
the worst.
if I had a bad table, I just kind of laughed it off. I'm like, wow, those people were
People are
fucking crazy.
Eaton Park was the worst because they never staffed us correctly. So like
Yeah.
I'd be one server and I'd have 50 fucking customers at once.
I mean,
and
that's
would
the only
just-
way you're gonna make money at Eaton Park because those are small
Oh
checks.
yeah, well when
Yeah.
your fucking cook takes an hour and a half to make your food and they just
Yeah, they
leave,
blame
you
it on
ain't
the
making no
waitress.
money.
Yeah.
I fucking worked at King's midnight shifts for
Oh,
a
God.
while.
Yeah.
And like as a server with like 2 other servers and like 1 cook and just like fucking football Fridays and shit and it's just like
I know someone that worked with you when
Drunk
you worked
people.
there.
who?
I'll talk to you about it later. He recognized your voice from the podcast.
Okay. I don't
Well,
like that, but all right.
typically we would go ahead and look at some of the future cards, but it is already
tired.
10:42. I'm tired. I also want to get up in the morning
I feel it.
because I'm finally off of quarantine and I can hopefully make it to the gym in the morning.
Well,
I need to
and
get
we're gonna be
back
back
into
to cover
training.
this stuff next week anyway.
Yeah, honestly, we don't really ever have to look ahead of the cards like that anyway. I mean, typically when people do these, they don't go that far ahead. We're like, all right, let's look at the fight.
Yeah.
Let's look at the fights for the next month.
Yeah.
Is there anything interesting though that we had sent in the group message that is worth mentioning? I can't. Hold on, let me look real quick.
Not really.
That's real quick, man. That thread is going to be huge right now because we were blowing it up.
I know. I'm like,
and,
literally-
and 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh my
like
God.
And 3
literally
nights ago.
sitting at, I'm like drinking fucking the last
Me-
4 nights, and I'm like, dude, my phone.
me,
Go
me-
off.
me-
I would like to.
me and Brandon were having a lover spat.
I know.
We're fucking
I
racial inequality in
You're
MMA
racist.
or whatever. It's just
Like
like
I'm like
some
scrolling
goddamn
right
deep
now, like
philosophical-
Jesus Christ, guys. I'd look at my phone.
literally,
and be
literally,
like, woo.
I thought since you didn't respond to any of it, I was like, Nicolette is probably pissed right
she's
now.
she's muted this notifications. By
No,
now.
I just was I was just busy.
But
Not really. I
Hey, we
was-
should just reread the whole conversation on a podcast.
Okay.
That'd be fun. Act out our messages in
Yeah.
person.
yeah, we talked about that a little bit already.
Yeah, I guess that was it. Really.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So-
We have next week to do. Talk about whatever, guys.
Yeah, so next week we'll probably dive into some news. This week we had too many
Lot of
cards to cover. We were on that hiatus. We thought one fight card wasn't going to be interesting enough to really do something on, so we decided to take a break. Then I tested positive for COVID, so we couldn't do one. So we had a lot to cover, so we didn't do some of the stuff we normally do. But I may trim out some of that at the end regardless, going through 6 fight cards into the future.
Yeah.
Well, we can cover stuff like that and fight announcements and
If
then
we're
hit the
gonna do it
card.
every week anyway.
We need to get
Right.
better at editing ourselves, guys. We need to know when to cut it off.
Yeah. So I was trying to do a better job of that today. Part of that was just because I was already tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I've had a long
Yeah.
couple of days.
End on a sour note.
So
Downer.
so
We're all tired.
I highly recommend everybody go watch UFC 256. If you did not watch it, I don't care if you even still have to pay for it. It was worth the money,
Banger.
Yeah.
prelims and everything. So, but this is MMA Fools, and we're out.
See ya.
All right.
Fuck.
Well, who recognized me?
Think Zach first.
Who? Is he a cook? Was he a cook there?
I don't know if he was a cook or a dishwasher.
I think I. Do you have a picture of him?